The game plays right here.
Are you ready for some football?
Your sports leader, WOHS Shelby, WLON Lincoln, WCSL Cherryville Gastonia, and W268CU Shelby. Hey, look, it's Gary Dallinger with Dallinger Electric. Gary, what's going on?
Hey, Calvin, just stopped by to see how the new jingle was coming along.
Well, as a matter of fact, we just finished it up. Want to hear it?
Oh, I can't wait.
Here we go.
When it comes to your wiring, you don't want to monkey around. Call Dallinger Electric. They're the best electricians in town.
Well, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't even give her phone number. And monkey around?
704-435-0705. They're the best electricians in town.
I don't have to pay for that, do I?
No matter where you live, if you're looking for a motorcycle, head to Greer, South Carolina to Cherokee Cycles. With name brands like Indian, Victory, and Polaris, you can't go wrong. Ask about special financing programs. And be sure to pick up this week's What's Up Shopper for great buys on used bikes. That's Cherokee Cycles, located at 1700 South Highway 14 in Greer, South Carolina. Your dealer for Indian, Victory, and Polaris Motorsports.
Every morning is different for everybody. Nate gets up for the early shift, while Brad is just getting home from the night shift. Pam runs a PR and a 5K, while Drew runs late to work. Beth proposes a road trip to her boyfriend, while Mark proposes to his girlfriend. Luckily, there's a McDonald's for every morning.
Start your morning with a rich, smooth, and freshly brewed McCafe coffee. And now, get any size for just $1 at McDonald's. Limited time offer. Price of participation may vary. A la carte only.
Considering hardwood flooring for your home? Then head to Flooring America in Kings Mountain or Carpet One Interiors in Ranlow. Right now, at both locations, you'll find a big selection of in-stock hardwoods on sale, priced as low as $2.99 a square foot. That's right, only $2.99 a square foot at Flooring America, located at 602 Slater Street in Kings Mountain and Carpet One Interiors in Ranlow.
Listen to Dr. Randy Davis on the Sea Cruise every Monday from 2 until 6 on The Boss.
Your beach oldies and sports station.
WHS Shelby, WLON Lincoln, and W268CU Shelby.
Spanning 6 decades of sun, fun, and beach music classics. It's On the Beach with Charlie Brown.
That's where I wanna be.
Now from the Beach Music Hall of Fame, here's your host, Charlie Brown.
Welcome to On the Beach, brought to you in part by the King of Diamonds, Hayes Jewelers of Lexington, North Carolina. Directions to the store are at hayesjewelers.com.
Charlie Brown, be on, be fruitful, and be happy, and stay out town.
Afternoons at 1 o'clock from the Performance Racing Network, right here on 1590 AM WCSL, Cherryville, Gastonia. The RVer's most trusted resource for over 50 years. That's Campers Inn. Family owned and operated since 1966. And this area's dealer is Campers Inn in Kings Mountain, Highway 161 South at I-85. Campers Inn is the nation's largest family-operated RV dealership with 16 locations on the East Coast. From motorhomes to travel trailers and more, from the industry's leading manufacturers, plus award-winning RV sales and service. See hundreds of RVs at the best prices at Campers Inn. Highway 161 South at I-85 in Kings Mountain. Tell them Calvin sent you in to the Campers Inn.
It's time to tee it up at the Pine Mountain Golf Course. Play and ride all day, Monday through Friday for $28. Senior rate is $25. Play and ride 18 holes Monday through Friday for $21. Seniors play for $18. Play and ride weekends and holidays for $28. For your tee time, give them a call at 828-433-4950. The Pine Mountain Golf Course. Come and play today.
The Orange Opportunity Sales Event is underway at Parker Farm Service in Kings Mountain. Come in now and ask about 0% financing for 84 months on select Kubota tractors with a big 6-year warranty. Come on in for all the details and don't miss it. The Orange Opportunity Sales Event underway now at Parker Farm Service, located at 126 Bessie Drive off the Oak Grove Road and Highway 74 bypass in Kings Mountain.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. for Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company.
In NASCAR, you always want to be first. In the nation, being first is just as important. At Nationwide Insurance, we put members first because we don't have shareholders. That's why the Earnhardt family has trusted Nationwide Insurance for more than 35 years. Nationwide is on
your Nationwide insurance agent in Cherryville is Sandy Cunningham Nationwide Insurance, 1608 East Church Street. Call 704-445-1990.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates, Columbus, Ohio. Paid endorsement. Not all Nationwide companies are mutual companies. Not all policyholders are members of a mutual company.
Wanna inebriate. You had said I was a belonging it. I said I'm conquering all of yesterday, and that's just wrong. That's wrong. I was at summer rain. I had some Gatorade, fluid replenishing. From terrain, forgot the cold and bad. I took that mask and tape, connect the phone to me. But what's done is done. Done is done. Saw your face, the bottom of the Tanqueray. It was a bad day, Now I face the entire human race on my own disgrace. Yes, it's all up to
My ears turned up. Good morning, everybody. Campers in Saturday morning sports talk. Kevin Hastings along here with Evan Smoke Ludwig, Texas Terry Reinhardt. He don't have his referee jersey on this morning. Does that mean you're gonna be with us all day today?
That means I'll be with you all day today.
We're gonna be breaking down there. Terry will give his insights into some football he didn't get into last week. He was 2-2 last week. I don't even know what you were on the spread. Let's see. You got New England on the spread. You definitely missed Pittsburgh, and you missed Atlanta and Minnesota. You picked them to win by 6. They won by how many?
5.
5, and the spread was
5.5.
Isn't that funny? For all those folks out there who swear that sports isn't fixed. And
I want to tell you something about that too. And as we talking, why should you go out there and even kneel to kick an extra point or whatever? In overtime, if you score a touchdown, they don't send nobody out there to kick extra point.
The one and only reason, and you know what it is.
You know, I mean,
gambling. The one and only reason that they go out there and kick the extra points is gambling. It's so you don't have people from Vegas, calling the NFL and complaining about the extra point score and all that. That's the reason there's an injury report. It's not, the injury reports aren't even for the teams to know or for us to know. It's so the gamblers know.
In fantasy football,
yeah, and it's funny because New Orleans even sent their kicker back out there.
The punter with the broken ribs, my dad.
I mean, just stand over there.
You know who they should have sent out there? Marcus Williams all by his dang self to stand out there and let them take a knee in front of him.
Should have seen Drew Brees out there to stand on the other side.
Marcus Williams is safety. Send him out there all by himself.
Would everybody have been mad if...
Why did anybody go out there? What are they going to do, throw a flag on him?
I know, that's what I'm saying. My whole deal is this.
I mean, come on.
What if
cares?
Minnesota would have tried to score? How would people have took that?
What if they went for 2?
Yeah, think of it.
Give it one of the big linemen. I mean,
your first time chance on scoring.
But seriously, folks, think about that game. The spread was 5.5. Minnesota scored on a miracle play to get to the spread number to make it 6. The NFL says you got to come back out here. They make this whole to-do to make them come back out here to hit this spread, and then Minnesota takes a knee.
That was one of the funniest things.
It was, and they had to wait and wait.
Let's just all come out here and take a knee.
Well, and
this ain't got nothing to do with gambling.
Chris Myers was already out on the field trying to interview Stephon Diggs, and he's like, "Oh, wait, we got to go out." So he's trying to walk and talk with Stephon Diggs while this is going on. I mean, it was one of the weirdest.
Yeah, but what took 10-15 minutes extra?
I mean, that makes it worse.
Now this brings up, and we'll talk about it later. A few years back, the NFL to protect their anti-trust exemptions, which means they basically don't pay taxes and stuff. They admitted in a federal court that and it says basically on the back of your tickets that you don't have a right to see any type of. It's not an actual contest that they can actually fix the games. They argued basically that they're the WWE, and so actually going into these games, you can believe it or not that it's supposed to be real competition, but they actually argued in a federal court to keep their tax exempt status that they are basically the WWE and they can fix games if they really wanted to. So, and not just the NFL. This is all the pro sports. Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, they all did it. So it makes you think, think sometimes when all these when they hit the spreads exactly on the number and things like that. So it's just you never know what you're watching on TV sometimes.
and then when I go back and the play that put Minnesota in the championship game tomorrow was a play that I thought Williams. And they even was talking about, well, it had been pass interference. Who cares? The guy's still going to have to hit a 50-yard field goal
and Forbat
to
is
beat
the
him.
best field goal kicker.
You know, I mean, I don't know.
Bad coverage, bad play, bad tackling. The worst part about it was
he knocked the next guy out.
That's the totally worst part about it. Not only were you so bad and so made such a terrible play, you took out your teammate from being able to make a good play to make up for your dumb butt. So,
well, would Diggs have thought about I'm going all the way, or would he have thought about I got to get out of bounds?
Well, when he turned his back, there was nobody in front of him.
There was nobody there. But what if the guy behind him could have run him down?
Well, he wouldn't. I mean, he didn't know that when he took off.
Well, I know that. But I mean, I sat back and thought of a lot of things.
Why was Ted Ginn Jr. not on the field? Why was Michael Thomas not on the field? Why did they have linebackers out there and D tackles out there chasing around? There's a lot of questions to ask for, Coach Payton. Were they going to bring him back? We're going to get into a lot of that today. We've got all kinds of things to talk about.
I sent you my predictions on that.
The fact of the matter is, we could have this weekend, guys, Nick Foles, Case Keenum, Blake Bortles, and Brian Hoyer.
We could.
Championship weekend for all those who go out here and bash Dan Marino for never winning a championship, or Phillip Rivers and all these other guys. This weekend we have Case Keenum, Nick Foles, Blake Bortles, and possibly Brian Hoyer starting championship weekend.
Now, did you see what the funniest thing about that whole thing?
I don't think Brady's playing. I really don't.
Did you see what they did? Yesterday, they had all the cameras on the right side of the room while Brady was being interviewed, so they would get his good hand.
I mean, it's the biggest crock. He's out there walking around with 2 gloves on his hands during meetings. He's like the hamburger man.
I mean, this would be a good time to maybe have Garoppolo. Oh wait, he's now across the country.
We're going to talk about that. We've got high school action to talk about a little bit. Last night we had, I think, one game we did on KTC. Was there any other games that Newton Conover Lincoln played?
Yeah,
Lincoln County played sports last night.
Yeah,
I don't think the rest of North Carolina bothered playing sports last night.
I don't think any of Gaston County or no to Cleveland County schools. I mean, Shelby was supposed to have a game Thursday and
Friday.
Both and they're both conference games. So
yes, they got East Gaston on Thursday, East Rutherford Friday, and yeah, you're right, Smoke. They've both been moved. Haven't got a date on East Rutherford. I think East Gaston has been moved to Monday, maybe, or that's the Cherryville game. East Gaston may have been moved to next week. I don't know the exact date. I don't want to say it if I'm not 100% right. We've got. Let's see. We'll talk all the championship games. Talk about last week. We've got. The divisional round games talk about last week. We've got our championship rounds talk about this week. Some more Super Bowl predictions and other things to talk about in the league. You got some Panther news. You've got Charlotte Hornet news, big time news that's coming up. We've got to talk about some Kemba Walker. Will he be traded? Is it a good idea to trade him? Is it a bad idea? Who else should be traded? What should Charlotte do? We've talked about this for the whole year. What can they do as a sports franchise in general? And we'll get into that. We've got some Major League Baseball stuff to talk about, some trades and happenings. Cardinals got rid of an outfielder yesterday, and some other guys to talk about in that. Some NASCAR news and notes coming up. Danica got her sponsor.
Yeah, she's going to hoorah with Daytona 500 and Indy 500 this year. Also, the Hall of Fame ceremony was last night.
Hoorah!
Well,
I thought it was GoDaddy.
No, she's no longer with GoDaddy.
No, I just saw an announcement yesterday something about GoDaddy's coming back to.
Well, I'm just saying it's her last hoorah, basically, in motorsports because
GoDaddy's going to be the sponsor for the 2 races.
Yeah. I was
saying this is her last hoorah. I got you.
Yeah.
Got you, Smoke. Yeah. Communications. My bad. But yes, she'll be back for keep continuing your thought.
She'll be back for the 500 in February, and she will be running the first Indy 500 since 2010, 2009. It's been a while since she's been in Indy cars, so that'll be something that a lot of people.
Is she going to have a good enough car to compete?
I don't know. She's usually run pretty well in the Indy 500. She usually had some top 10 finishes. Of course, that first one was her closest, where she was leading with about 17 to go before the late Dan Weldon passed her for victory. I think she finished about 5th in that race, and that really catapulted her. I mean, she didn't win the race, and she was on the freaking front cover of Sports Illustrated after the race, even though she finished 5th, and not Dan Weldon. So, I mean, that's how big it was at the time, Danica Patrick was at the time of those events. And, you know, unfortunately, her career didn't flourish like many were hoping or expecting to. But still, she's made her impact on the sport one way or the other. And I think like I said, I think we'll continue to see females go into the sport of NASCAR because of Danica Patrick, even though she wasn't the most successful.
Well, you know, in a sport like racing, it's not always your skill set as much as, you know, it is your skill set, but it also, you know, you got to get in the right ride, right situation, right crew chief, right sponsors, right everything. Oh, yeah. So it's not like a one-on-one sport like golf, you know, or it's just, you know, you think of it as a one-on-one sport. Hey, I'm a Dale Earnhardt fan or a Jimmy Johnson fan, but you know, you can ask Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, if the left tire guy don't know what he's doing, you know, it can cost you all kinds of victories and championships, and it is a team sport, and you know, the driver is the major cog in that, but you don't, you know, like I said, you got to have the right type of things. Let's see, Tiger would never win if he's out there playing with you know, paper golf clubs or trying to kick the golf ball.
That'd be impressive if he did. Got
to have some good equipment. We've got that. Let's see more to get in about that NBA action. We've got to talk about with Terry's. We got trade deadline is coming up. We've got Celtics. We've got LeBron. Is he going to get help? Is he going to leave? What's going to happen with that? Let's get into real quick before our first break what we did have in basketball last night, Terry.
And we can do that. In girls action last night, it was Lake Norman Charter over East Lincoln 56-55. Lincoln in over Newton Conover 58-42. And North Lincoln defeated West Lincoln 59-32. In boys action last night, it was East Lincoln 77, Lake Norman Charter 55, Lincoln in 67, Newton Conover 45, and North Lincoln over West Lincoln 62-53. And that brings up conference standings. Lincoln and East Lincoln are tied on top of the boys at 7-1. Lake Norman Charter 5-3, followed by Maiden 4-3, Bandy's 3-4, North Lincoln 3-5, Newton Conover 2-6, and West Lincoln 0-8. In the girls' action, Maiden leads the way at 6-1. Up next would be Lincoln and Lake Norman Charter at 6-2. East Lincoln 5-3. Newton Conover and North Lincoln 3-5. Bandy's 2-5, and West Lincoln 0-8 on the year. And overall standings, Lincoln in 14-2 leads the way in the boys, and Maiden at 13-2 leads the way in the girls.
Southern Piedmont 1A, 2A. I don't think there was any games last night. Looks like everything was postponed across there except for Lincoln County. So we're just going to give what I have on the updated standings in the conference. Lincoln Charter's 3-0, Highland Tech, Piedmont Charter 2-1, Bessemer City 1-1, Thomas Jefferson 0-2, Cherryville 0-3. However, Cherryville has the second most wins over on the conference total at 10-6. Lincoln Charter 13-4 overall, 3-0. They've lost 4 games.
Yeah, I think 1 or 2 of those came in the Christmas tournament that they were in, and that one lost to Cox Mill, of course. But they've all been against like 3A or 4A
okay,
teams.
That's what my question was going to be on that. All right, let's see. Over in the Southwest 2A, Shelby, RS Central, South Point, East Gaston, East Rutherford, and Chase in that order right now in the conference. Shelby and RS Central haven't lost yet, 1-0 and 2-0 respectively. South Point 2-1, East Gaston 1-1, East Rutherford 1-2, Chase 0-3. And guys, you know, as much as you say this isn't that really a top to bottom competitive football conference. This basketball conference is pretty competitive from top to almost the bottom. 4 or 5 out of 6 teams is pretty good.
Well, you take 5 out of 6 or above 500.
Yeah, I mean you got East Rutherford in 5th place.
That's what I'm saying.
That's weird seeing them there.
Whoa, what? So you got South Point's battling down there in 3rd. They're supposed to make a run this year, maybe. Last year they made a run in the 3A. Now this year they're down in the 2A, so that could possibly mean a run for them. The Golden Lions only won one game in the conference so far. South Point 13-4 overall. RS Central 12-4 overall. Don't forget about the Hilltoppers. They play some basketball up there. 8-6 is Shelby. East Gaston 9-5. East Rutherford 11-6, and then the Chase Trojans still winless this year, looking for that first win. Games last night canceled. Last games, Kings Mountain beat Shelby 57-55 on Tuesday night in Shelby. So big win for the Mountaineers in that. Upcoming this week on the 22nd, Monday, right now is RS Central Shelby. East Gaston, East Rutherford is on Tuesday. Shelby at South Point is on Tuesday. RS Central at Chase is on Tuesday.
Yeah, this is going to be a busy week for a lot of teams, and especially if you add that, depending on what county you're in, the testing is going to make
that's
it
all.
even
Yeah,
more
you got to study for a test and play 3 or 4 games of basketball this week. Big South 3A, Kings Mountain's up on top 7-0. Ashbrook, North Gaston, and Huss all 5-2. Stuart Kramer 3-4. Forest View 2-5. Crest 1-6. Burns 0-7. Kings Mountain 13-4 overall. North Gaston 12-5 overall, and Ashbrook 11-6. Huss 9-6 are all the teams with the winning records. Looking forward to this week's upcoming games. We've got Bulldogs of Burns at Ashbrook, Kings Mountain at Stuart Kramer, and those are Mondays. Tuesday action, Kings Mountain at North Gaston, and Crest at Stuart Kramer.
Looks like Crest is playing today against Forest View as well.
Crest finally got their first conference win over the Bulldogs this past week. Big win in Burns, 77-44. Kings Mountain this week, like I said, just won 2 points over Shelby the other night. And that's your standings, and we'll have games this week on our schedule, Smoke. You guys will be in East Lincoln, Denver, for a big North Lincoln, East Lincoln matchup. Got a quick preview of that for our break.
Yeah, last one was a real close, tight 8-point game. It was never really got above double digits throughout, and North Lincoln's won 3 straight after falling to 5-8, and East Lincoln has continued to get on the roll as well with a big 22-point win on the road against Lake Number Charter last night. Should be a good one, but of course East Lincoln's got a bigger game on Tuesday against the Lincolnton Wolves to try and take the conference lead.
Now you can listen to that game, WLON 10:50 a.m. in Lincoln County. Friday night, Smoke will have that game along with probably who's with you? Is Tim with you Friday?
Yes.
Tim will be with you Friday. Let's see. Over in Cherryville, Cherryville will be at Piedmont Charter on Friday night. Piedmont Charter right now 9-7. Cherryville 10-6. Should be a good matchup between the Ironmen and I don't even know Piedmont, the Patriots, I think, maybe something like that. And they'll be Friday night, the 26th. And then also in Cleveland County, we got a big matchup, Smoke. Carson Docker will be joining me this Friday. Maybe if he's up and listening this morning and watching or can remember, we have to let him know by Friday. Carson Docker will be driving over here with the Hunter Huss Huskies for Hunter Huss at Kings Mountain on Friday, Terry. That's going to be a big matchup.
Yes, it will.
In the Big South 3A. All right. It's time for another break here on KTC Broadcasting.com. The Kings Mountain Huss game Huss at Kings Mountain game will also be on YouTube, folks. You can watch that online, KTCBroadcasting.com, like you're watching now this morning. You can watch every Saturday morning with us, Campers Inn Saturday Sports Talk, on YouTube and KTCBroadcasting.com. Today we've got Tar Heel basketball and we've got Charlotte Hornets basketball for the rest of the day. I don't have the schedule here in front of me, but I do know those two play, and I can't remember. You know who they both play? Smoke off the top of your head.
Hornets, I do know, play the Heat. That'll be at 6:30. It's a home game.
Terry, you got ACC schedule over here?
Yeah, and Georgia Tech plays Carolina at 2 o'clock.
The Rambling Wreck of Georgia Tech, and who'd you say in Hornets?
The Hornets played Heat.
Hornets and Miami. Miami's what, a 4 seed right now? They're up there in the standings.
They're
doing pretty good. All right, guys, let's take a break. Jock, you ready? Jock's ready. All right, we'll be back in a few minutes. KTCBroadcasting.com.
the RVer's most trusted resource for over 50 years. That's Campers Inn, family owned and operated since 1966. And this area's dealer is Campers Inn in Kings Mountain, Highway 161 South at I-85. Campers Inn is the nation's largest family-operated RV dealership with 16 locations on the East Coast. From motorhomes to travel trailers and more, from the industry's leading manufacturers, plus award-winning sales and service. See hundreds of RVs at the best prices at Campers Inn, Highway 161 South at I-85 in Kings Mountain. Tell them Calvin sent you in to the Campers Inn.
Country Gold with Terry Clark.
I'm Terry Clark, inviting you to join me this week for Country Gold, where we play all your favorites from the 80s and 90s.
Country Gold with Terry Clark, Thursday afternoons 1 to 5 on Big O Country, 1590 AM WCSL, and online at KTCBroadcasting.com.
KC Champion of Kings Mountain is this month's McDonald's WOHS What's Up Shopper Scholar Athlete of the Month. KC is the son of Kevin and Cammie Champion. KC plays first base on the Kings Mountain Mountaineer baseball team and has a grade point average of 4.875. His advanced courses include AP U.S. Government, AP Psychology, AP Comparative Government, AP English, and AP English Literature. He is a member of the First Baptist Church of Kings Mountain and is involved in the Murphy's Tour Run and Shriners Barbecue. After graduation, Casey plans to attend the U.S. Air Force Academy or UNC Wilmington. The McDonald's KTC Broadcasting What's Up Shopper Scholar Athlete is to recognize a student athlete not only for accomplishments in athletics, but also for overall achievements in the classroom and overall school and community citizenship.
It's time to play at the Kings Mountain Country Club. Play and ride on the new cart paths. Play and ride 18 holes Monday through Friday for $28. Seniors 55 and older can ride and play 18 holes Monday through Friday for just $24. Play and ride 18 holes on weekends for just $37. For tee times, call 704-739-5871 for the Kings Mountain Country Club, located on 109 Country Club Drive in Kings Mountain.
Saquon Barkley.
I was like, I see you tweeting all that stuff out, and then I'm like, he's coming. I guess he's coming. I thought you were in the restroom.
You didn't know I was faster than Twitter, did you? Tweeting, sending out some tweets down the hall, Terry. Hey, you know what I did? I forgot to get to the charger.
Okay.
John, go to my office. Somewhere in there, I unplugged it from the wall, I promise. I think it's laying on the desk. Will you grab my white charger, please? Thank you. That's what interns are for. Especially ones that pull up in a Cadillac. She's got to go get my charger. She's going to roll up like that. And some nice wheels. All right, guys. I've lost my breath. You ready, Smoke?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You ready? Hey, yeah, you hadn't moved this morning much, has he, Terry?
Well, he had a late night.
He did a late night over there.
Got off at 7 o'clock.
Yeah. First Lincoln County game done before, 9 o'clock in a long time? You've done it.
This, for my nearly 3-4 years working here, this is the first time it's been a high school basketball game I've gotten off at 7 o'clock. It really felt weird. I mean, it felt weird that we were starting our broadcast when I could look over to the other side of the baseline where the door's at, and the sun's still out. It's like, what in the world is going on? I mean, that really felt weird.
Well, let's talk about NBA action / Charlotte Hornets / announced the other day that Kemba Walker has been made available. Not that they're trying to trade him. They're made available in trade talks. And if you didn't know, and I didn't know, Terry, that they've already made available pretty much the whole team. If you read the list, it was Marvin MKG, Nick Batum, Dwight Howard, and now Kemba. So pretty much the whole team is available for trade talks. Now, is this ownership saying everyone's available? Smoke's saying he thinks it might be. Or is this Rich Cho trying to save his job, trying to make a move type thing? Are they just trying to make Kemba happy, maybe send him somewhere? My quick point of view about it all is that I think this is the wrong time to make this decision, because he does have another year and a half. You can make this decision next year at this time, right before he is going to leave. He doesn't have a no trade clause. He has a very, very easily tradable contract. He's only getting paid $12 million a year.
Yeah.
For example, Nick Batoon's getting paid $24 million a year. He will be very hard to miss. Jock, I'll get it during the break, I guess. Who knows what it might be in my pocket. I had to, or it might have flew. Did you see how fast I was running down the hall? It might have flew out back then when I was Saquon Barkley. And Terry, I at least ran a 4.3 down that hall. It's only 20 yards or so.
10 yards.
Does that math? But anyway, Kim is only getting paid $12 million a year, and I'm going to pull up the old NBA draft machine. That's one of my favorite things to look at. It gives you an idea of who you can trade for and what you can do, because the NBA, you have to match up money for the most part, because every single team is over the luxury tax and because they're stupid, basically. But anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. But right now, Kemba, and he's your leading scorer, and he's 6th paid on the team. You don't trade that guy, no matter who he is, right? For example, I'm gonna pull up the rest of them's stats here in just a second.
I mean, are they not really trying to tell you right now that we know we don't have a chance, so we've already gave up on the year? If you're going to throw Kemba out there,
right,
that's exactly what you're telling everybody.
To be honest with you, if we're being honest, GMs will – there's only about a list of 4 or 5 players in this whole league that if someone asks you, do you want to trade them, you just completely hang up on them. I mean, there's some guys that you would think wouldn't be traded that – the GMs will talk about. It's like, hey, what can we do with this? We'll bring up the name. If the deal's right, we'll trade you. I mean, I think a guy like Russell Westbrook is a perfect example. I mean, he could be traded.
If I'm a GM, there is not a single person in the league that couldn't be traded. If I'm a GM, there's nothing that I would ever say I'm not trading anybody, or I would talk to you about anybody. I mean, you got a whole team. I'll take 12-year players for one of my guys. At some point, there's a deal to be made. And I would listen to everything, and everything. To me, it's like poker chips. So when I look at my poker chips over here, I've got Kemba Walker for $12 million, or I got Nick Batum for $24 million. Or would you rather have MKG for $13 million? Look at the PER. Kemba is at 20.5 right now. 16 is is usually the average number. Anything above that is above average. People above average on the Hornets right now: Kemba, Dwight, and Jeremy Lamb are the only people with PERs above 16. Right below that in the 14 ranges is MKG, Marvin. You know Cody's right at 16, so he's that's basically saying.
But he hasn't played in over a month.
Right. Yeah. So Cody's basically an average starter. The rest of the guys should be coming off the bench. MKG should be coming off the bench. Marvin Williams should be coming off the bench. Marvin Williams would be a good piece on a contender coming off the bench, shooting threes, playing multiple positions.
I mean, Marvin has been his averages are close to a 50-40-90.
But he's not he's not a starter for a team trying to make a playoff.
No. I understand.
And that's what Charlotte and me and Smoke's talking about the other day, Terry. The biggest thing in all this, they got to hit their draft picks.
Yeah, they do.
They've been terrible. They've been absolutely MKG at 2. Harrison Barnes is averaging 20 points a game. MKG's getting what now? 10?
Yeah, 10. This has been his best year shooting.
Well,
number 2 pick. Kevin Durant is one of the best players of all time at 2. Yeah. Michael Jordan was picked at 3.
If I am a
MKG
Hornets
was at 2.
fan, this is what I would be wondering. I'm going to have to give up one of my best players to get something back that should help us, that I don't think is going to help us, but it all depends on who somebody else is going to give up. And that's the worst part about it. When you're going to sit back and say, Dwight Howard or Kemba, one of them two I've got to give up to get something back. And then what do you think Howard's going to do?
You're not going anywhere, up or down.
Right.
If you make
you're not. I mean, what do you think Howard's going to do? Why did I come here?
And granted, he's only got one more year after this year, so does Kemba. And that's what I'm saying. Think about this. Just think about this. If you can move Batum and/or MKG and Marvin, okay? If you can move any of them and get smaller contracts as far as years,
expiring contracts,
exactly. Because this whole thing with Charlotte over the years has always been they've never signed a free agent, right? They've never signed a big name free agent. I'm coming to Charlotte. The closest thing, I guess, is Batum.
No. That was a trade. The closest thing they've got was Al Jefferson.
Him.
Al Jefferson was the closest they've got.
That's in the whole year of Charlotte, folks. I'm talking about Bobcats, the pre-Hornets, everybody.
What about Jamal Mashburn? Was he free agent?
I think he was in one of those. They had all kinds of trades.
What are you going to get for MKG?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Exactly. But that's my point. Is that's what I would do as a GM. Somebody will give me a second-round pick for him. Or a first-round pick. But
more
what you got to do...
Yeah, it's definitely probably going to be a second. If it ain't a
what
third.
if it's a late first? There ain't a third, Terry.
It might as well be a third. That's what I'm saying.
But even if you do, that's fine to me. Because what you're getting for that then is you're saving those 2 years and $13 million. Because what the Charlotte Hornets have got to do is they've got to sign one key free agent that can score 20 points a game. Because their drafting history, if you trade Kemba or Dwight Howard for a draft pick, and you've never hit a draft pick since Kemba, what are you doing? You're basically trading Kemba for maybe Frank Kaminsky or Cody Zell or another MKG because you don't have a clue. And the only good thing about trading for that is that those guys will be getting paid cheap, but Kemba's not expensive. If you do that for Batum, that'd be fine.
The thing is, they're going to try to get out of some of these salary. They're going to trade these guys for salary dumps. Dwight, I think, will be traded next year because it'll be on an expiring deal. It's going to be. I mean, even though Dwight's been playing terrific this year and having a kind of a career renaissance with the Hornets, I mean, people aren't going to take him more so because of the price of taking him and just how everyone is.
Well, just look at the roster real quick.
Well, Smoke it. I think the reason he's having such a big year because there's nobody else down there. He should be scoring. He should be rebounding. The only other person that can compete with him is Kemba and maybe Batum. But, Lamb's having a decent year to me, I think. But as far as everybody else, there's nobody down there that can compete to give him more of a stability that he has to perform better or,
There's
something
only one
underneath.
player in the NBA, Terry, that averages 15 points, 12 rebounds, and 50% shooting. Dwight Howard.
Well,
and here's what I'm about to tell you about their offense. So the offense is predicated on Kemba moving the ball, cutting, and slashing, right? Which is perfect for it set up for Dwight. I think Kemba and Dwight are doing fine. They're doing exactly what they should have been doing this whole time. These other scrubs aren't doing nothing. If Kemba, let's say, dribbles around, if he gets double teamed, Terry, and he kicks it to somebody's shoot, he kicks it over to MKG, is he going to take an open shot and hit it? Listen to this. In his career, you know how many three-pointers he's taken? 36. So Kemba can't kick it out to him. Marvin Williams, one night he'll go 5 for 8, and then the next night he'll be 1 for 9 from 3 or something like that. He's really inconsistent, so you don't know. And by goodness, if Batum ain't catching it and shooting it.
No, some games he's just gone purposely without shooting it.
So I think the roster, the key players on the roster mix up. I think they give them one more year, and then next year, if they're in the same position, we can have all this talk all we want. But I think right now is a terrible decision based on Kemba's number of years. The only players who's going to Charlotte if they trade Kemba and Dwight right now for draft picks and no name Tristan Thompsons and stuff like that. Who's buying a ticket? Who's going to Charlotte?
No one is. And that's the thing you risk is if you give up Kimba's really no offense to Dwight, but Kemba is in his prime right now.
Mm-hmm.
Kimba's the reason to go to Hornets games. He's kind of like he's been one of the best players ever to play for Charlotte, Bobcats or Hornets, and you don't want him to go through another rebuilding process because he already went through that stuff his first few years, the 7-59 year and all that.
It's time for Rich Cho to go.
Yeah,
it has to be, right?
Well, it's his last year on this contract,
and all these are all his players that he's drafted,
or traded for. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
So the problem was this all goes back to 2 years ago when the whole salary cap spiked and. Honestly,
Hornets got screwed. They were in a good position.
They put themselves in that position.
But they were in a good. No, what I'm saying is that they were in a good position
mm-hmm.
because what happened was that the smaller market teams were way less. They were closer to the salary cap
mm-hmm.
and around the line. So all these teams like the Lakers and the Knicks, and the Cavs that spent over the salary cap, when they increased the Warriors, when they increased the salary cap by $20 million. That allowed all of them to sign the players that teams like the Hornets and Timberwolves and these small market teams were going to be able to, that were really smart with their money going by NBA rules over the past 5 to 10 years and doing what they're supposed to be. They were actually, I thought, in a good position. And then, like Smoke just said, I think the cap kind of threw a wrench into everyone's plans and messed a lot of that because it jumped so high.
It hurt the Hornets arguably the worst. And as crazy as it is to tell people, Batum's not actually getting paid to max. He took a $30 million discount. The dollar discount to come back to Charlotte.
Not a year, but
yeah, but in general, yeah.
When you say a discount, was anybody else offering that money?
Dallas was going hard after Batum.
Did they offer him the same amount of money?
I think they offered him the max.
Because then there's no way he turned down more money. Smoke is what I'm saying.
Well, I think what drove Batum to Charlotte was he has a player option his last year.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what really drove him.
There was an extra year that he could opt into, and they're probably getting paid. The players in the NBA, if they're getting paid more, they're moving.
My question for y'all is this: why would a player, and everybody would want to do this, why would a player not want to come to Charlotte to play?
Look at the situation they're in now.
I mean,
mediocrity.
we go all the way back to Bryant. Bryant was like, "I'm not playing for Charlotte."
Well, that was so different back then. I think it was because.
Oh, I know, but you still saying how come they have not been able to pick up somebody besides the ones like Alonzo Mourning, Larry Johnson?
Well, I mean, the '90s they had something going in the '90s where they were consistently drafting well with the top tiered picks they had. I mean,
but that's what I'm talking about. They were drafting well. And these guys went there
because they got Alonzo. They got was Kendall Gill a draft pick or he was, I think he was a draft pick too for Charlotte. You also had Larry Johnson. You did a pretty good job of drafting Rex Chapman as your first draft pick. He turned out to be a pretty solid player. And then in the late 90s even, you got guys like Baron Davis coming into the organization. They were consistently good at drafting and had some very good teams because of that. And they were able to trade some of those guys like Alonzo. And even though they lost Alonzo's prime years, they were able to get Glenn Rice in return.
Kendall Gill was 5th overall pick by the Charlotte Hornets,
and that was a good pick. He turned out to be a very good pro, an underrated pro.
You've got to hit your draft picks. We talked about this last week when they played. Was it Milwaukee or somebody? They could have Giannis on their team. All they had to do is draft him. They could have Giannis. They could have Harrison Barnes. They could have Devin Booker or maybe Zach LaVine. They could have Nikola Jokic. They could have all these players on their team if someone knew what they were doing when they were drafting. That's all it is. That's all it boils down to. MKG at 2 is a travesty. It's year 7, 6, 7, something like that?
This is actually his 5th year on the floor because he missed 1 year almost completely. But yeah, 5th, 6th year, something like that. And I mean, even though he's finally gotten a jumper, it's a little too late at this point because he's never going to develop a shot from outside 18 feet.
No, Harrison Barnes averaging 18 a game. MKG averaging 10, so I was a little. Barnes ain't quite up to 20 yet. But I'm not saying Barnes is a superstar or anything. But the Hornets need 18 points a game, not 10 from their wings, and that's just. I think that they've got to make the moves. Their last chance is to make moves with Kemba in Charlotte, and they've got Howard now. Like Terry, you got 2 good players, right? Yeah. You need one other good one and a solid bench. If they can get one other person that can drop 20 on a given night, they will be a playoff caliber team. But you can't look for Batum and all of them are not going to get 20 a night.
I guess the problem that bothers me because at the start of the year, I said Charlotte would be 3rd to 4th. Yeah. And they're nowhere near it, and you got to sit back and say Monk has not really become the player that I thought he would be to help them.
And you got to remember he's 19 years old.
Yeah, he is. He's young. He's still learning. But I mean, and to me, Batum to me is just a role player on the team. He's never going to be a guy that's going to show you 20 points a night on any night. He's going to be 10 one night and 20 the next.
Take him for Paul George.
But when you look down through the roster, I mean, Jeremy Lamb to me is the guy that's producing for them as much as anybody else.
He's overplaying his salary. He's over 16P.
It's just you're not going to get anything in return for that salary. It's so
$7 million. So what you're going to have to do, what they're saying, Kemba, if you did want to get rid of Batum, people are going to ask for Kemba.
Yeah.
Because of the salary cap. So you're looking at, because Batum count 24, it's basically saying we're basically paying Kemba 24 and Batum 12 is the way you're supposed to look at that in a trade. Howard, you look at him and Kemba, I said you got 2 decent players. Added together, Terry, is $36 million. That's only $18 million for your top 2 players. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, not bad.
When the max players are going at 30, look at LeBron's cost right now over there. LeBron's getting paid $33 million a year, and the Hornets' top 2 player added combined are 36. That's not bad. It's the rest of them that are when you start looking down the list. So potential, Cavs trade if they did want to do it. You're looking at getting back, I guess, Isaiah Thomas. You'd have to take. Maybe you could. You would maybe have to pull Kevin Love out of that, but that'd be gritting teeth. More than likely, they would try to throw Tristan Thompson and Amon Shumpert at you, and maybe Charlie Fry to make the. Channing Frye, Charlie Frye. Charlie's not playing basketball right now. Channing Frye to make the money match up. But you'd be looking at something like Kemba Dwight and Marvin or MKG for Tristan Thompson and Shumpert. And why would you do that if you're Hornets? Why would you take all those worst players for 3 years just to lose even more? They'd be basically tanking. That's saying we're going to tank no matter what. 3 for 2 because if you tank
they
that
get the
way,
Brooklyn pick, I think that'll be a difference.
Well, the bad thing about it is too, though, Smoke. If you do trade, say if you do trade Kemba and Dwight, like I said, they only got 2 years on their contracts. If you don't get 1 year deals back, you're basically trading for more money to be worse for 2 more years than you already are. You're taking, instead of for 1 year, you're taking for 2 or 3 years, basically, if you do that. So I think it's a terrible timing this year, maybe next year. Terry, what do you think?
Oh, yeah, I don't think it's good for them to do it now. I mean, that's just me. I agree with that totally. And I think Cleveland, after this year, Cleveland's going to fall all apart because I don't think LeBron's going to stay there. I think he's going to travel on somewhere else. Everybody keeps saying he's going to go to L.A. I don't know about all that. Even if he does, somebody would have to tell me why he would do that. Because there's nobody out there to really help him. And he needs help. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Not right now, but you
Paul
still
George
gonna have
might be going. But, ESPN Insider came out with their trade ideas for the Hornets. They got a bunch of them. Here's some of the ones that really stood out to me. They would have a trade between Utah and the Hornets for Rodney Hood, Ricky Rubio, Derek Favors, and their 2018 first. For Kemba, Lamb, Marv. Then they got a deal with the Suns for Tyler Ewis, Dragon Bender, Jared Dudley, Allen Williams, Greg Monroe for MCW, Julian Stone, Kemba, Johnny O'Brien, and Dwight. And also, let's see, there was another one.
See, that's what I was talking about right then.
Terrible.
All of a sudden, I've given up 2 of my 4 best players to try to get somebody else.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Dragon Bender might be something, so that I'm just saying he might.
For Dwight Howard and Kemba Walker?
He might be a mini
might
Kristaps.
be something.
He might, I know. And also the trade that they had from ESPN Insider, the last one was Isaiah Thomas, the Brooklyn's first-round pick, and Channing Frye for Kemba and Johnny O'Brien. So those are the deal. Those are some of the deals that.
That one's not terrible.
No, I'm.
But if they throw Dwight in there and start getting back other parts of a poo-poo platter, then
honestly, even on the other one he mentioned with Kemba and Lamb, I mean, there's 2 of your 4 best players you're giving up.
If you're going to move them both, I don't think you move them both to the same team because you're hamstringing yourself. Yeah, I would do it in a 3-way trade where I make sure I get a star back in return, a young star, something like a Lakers, Cavs, Hornets deal where Brandon Ingram ends up in Charlotte.
It might have to be 3 trade deals if they want to get something in return. I mean, honestly, if you're not trying to do a deal with Cleveland, Philly, and or Denver for some of their young talent, I don't think you really
think about Philly Smoke. What about this? Fultz and JJ Redick. Redick's on a 1-year deal for $22 million, and you could save $22 million if you throw MKG and Kemba Walker. You think Philadelphia turns that down? MKG and Kemba for JJ Redick and Markelle Fultz.
I think that would mainly be depending on what they think of Fultz if they've already given up on him.
Let's say even if Fultz don't work out,
right?
And Redick can go back and sign in Philadelphia next year because he's on an expiring contract if he wants. That means Charlotte saves $25 million in salary cap by making that trade.
Because Fultz on a rookie deal, he's getting like $3-4 million.
So if you do make that deal, you could save $20-something million in a salary cap move if something like that would happen. So Philadelphia is my favorite because of the salary dump with the Redick situation. If you're looking at the Lakers, it would have to be, Kemba to I guess I don't know if LeBron would insist on Kemba and Howard because he's pretty good friends with Dwight, ain't he?
I don't know. Maybe, but
did they break up? They used to be good friends.
I don't know because they don't.
There was a video of them eating at a Wendy's a few years back, and it was. Have you seen that one? It was
No,
LeBron and Dwight Howard, Darren Williams, and then like 2 other stars. I can't remember the other 2.
Oh, that must have been pretty long ago if it was Darren Williams.
It was.
He's disappeared completely.
They were like 3rd or 4th, 5th year in the league, and they all like went to a Wendy's somewhere. Showed up.
If they meet up again, I guess Dwight will take them to Bojangles.
Yeah, he's starting to love them Bowberries. I can't believe he got a deal from Bojangles yet on that. That is funny that if you follow him on Twitter, you know, like I am because we're friends because he likes me. Smoke. I didn't say that's his words, not mine. Jock didn't know about that, did you? Dwight, I'll show you later. He put, "I like this guy" at Kevin Hastings because I sent him a tweet one time.
That is actually real.
True, 100% true, Jock. Hall of Fame tweet is what I call it. Oh, Smoke's so jealous. Who else? Who's my other Hall of Fame tweeter?
Eric Dickerson.
Eric Dickerson also retweeted one of my tweets. Hall of Fame running back for the L.A. Ram. I guess he was always an L.A. Ram, wasn't he? He was a Colt.
Colt,
but I mean, like when he was a
Falcon.
Ram, that was in L.A. though, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he was also an LA Raider too.
God, he was everywhere. He's really good, Terry. Nobody ever brings him up a lot. He was trying to think of a way to describe him today. He's just really athletic. He
was
was
high stepping running back, about almost like Roger Craig.
He was the best athlete on the field when he was out there. It always seemed like he didn't like run over people. Like it was like Peterson, maybe Peterson, but he didn't run hard like his run over people like Adrian. But the way, kind of like Terry said, the high stepping, a little Todd Gurley-ish maybe actually a little bit too. All right, time for another break. Any other real quick for NBA standings and news and notes?
One thing I got about the NBA, we're going to quit sending people across the ocean because Boston's 0-2 since we got back. You know,
you didn't play well against Philly.
Well, I don't like that at all. I mean, we send you for 4 or 5 days off, then you go play one game, then we give you 4 or 5 days more to bring you back. And then the next 2 games that you play, you lose. So we're not going back across the ocean. We're staying in the United States to play our games from now on.
All right, guys, let's draft the NBA All-Star Game.
I hate they're not doing this public because, I mean, this would have made it so petty.
Smoke, you are Steph Curry. Terry, you are LeBron James. You ready for this? Who's got the first pick?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's a coin flip. I don't know that determines it, but these are, of course, not for the starters, but for the rest of the team.
No, the coaches pick the rest of the team.
Okay.
All LeBron and Steph are doing, they're picking the start. The starters are picked. There's 10 people in the pool. Mm-hmm. They're picking their teammates basically, and they may even be picking the reserves too. But the coaches are picking the reserves to be on the team.
Okay, so we only got 10 people to pick from.
No, right now, that's all we're doing right now is the starters. You guys pick the starters, and then we're going to pick. Then they haven't announced the backups yet. The coaches are pick. Here's how it's working, guys. The coaches are picking the starters have been picked by fans and voting. The coaches, NBA coaches, will pick up the backups. Okay. Then LeBron and Steph will pick their teams from those pools. So I want you two to pick the starters that you want on your team right now. Here are your choices. From the East, Kyrie, DeRozan, Embiid, and Giannis. From the West will be Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, and James Harden.
Who's got the first pick?
Y'all got those down?
No. I didn't write them down.
All right, Terry. Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, James Harden, Kevin Durant. You got a coin in your pocket, Smoke?
No.
Ask a millennial if he's got a coin in his pocket.
They don't have a.
The answer's always
my
no.
old wallet actually had a place where I could put my coins.
We'll flip a junior mint. I tell you what. Don't think I won't. All right, Terry, did you get the East guys that I told you? Kyrie, DeRozan, Embiid, and Giannis. You got it now?
Yeah, I guess.
Smoke, juicy or non-juicy?
Juicy, I don't.
Juicy, you get the first pick.
Giannis.
All right, Steph. Steph takes Giannis. LeBron, who you got? Now remember, Steph just took Giannis instead of Kevin Durant.
Well, that's what I'm
Does that start a fight in the locker room?
See, this is what I want them to announce it live so we can get
Ain't
these
no
petty
way,
wars.
Steph. Ain't no way Steph's taking Giannis number one. You know you're taking Durant. Back that up. I'm calling a protest pick. That's not realistic. Smoke takes Durant number one. Terry, who you got? If you're LeBron James, those are your players. Kyrie, Embiid, Giannis,
Harden.
You going James Harden with LeBron? Okay,
Giannis. There we go.
Now Smoke takes Giannis.
I got
then
myself some
I
dunkers.
got Kyrie Irving.
Wow, you think LeBron takes Kyrie?
That early, too?
So LeBron has taken...
Well, we're talking to a Boston fan.
So Terry's got Kyrie, James Harden, LeBron. Smoke's got Giannis, Steph, and Curry. Who you got? I mean, Durant. Who you got now?
Joel Embiid. I trust the process.
Embiid, the center, goes to Smoke.
I got Cousins.
Terry takes Cousins over the Brow. That leaves the Brow and DeRozan as the last two. Smoke. Who you got?
I'm going all big. I'm going Anthony
I was about to say, I'd go big. Then Terry ends up with
we're
a
gonna
small
run you to death.
So
we're going to run you off the floor.
Terry's
That's what we're
lineup-
going to do.
Terry's lineup is not going to get a shot off.
Yeah, but we're going to run him to death.
Let me back
He's
that
not
up.
going
Let
to
me
get back.
Y'all going to get a shot off because they're going to allow LeBron to run over people. Like
We're
he
gonna
does
score
in
200.
Today's new NBA. Said you can't check you
Smoke,
out, but you can
your
run over whoever you
team
want.
cannot match up mine. We're going to score 200 on y'all.
Terry's got Kyrie.
Well, I mean, they're both probably going to score 200. This is the All-Star game.
Terry's got Kyrie, who'll be guarded by Steph. Then Terry's got Harden, who will be had to be guarded by Giannis.
Put him at the 2, baby.
Looky there.
Terry, well, I mean, Harden ain't gonna get a shot off of Giannis on him.
Harden will take him inside and outside and eat him alive.
And then Terry will have DeRozan, who'll be getting guarded by Durant, who won't get a shot off on Durant, who's the NBA's leading shot blocker. Then Brow's gonna kill Cousins, Terry.
No.
Yeah.
Wrong answer.
And then is who's the Embiid and who LeBron. I forgot about LeBron. I got to put LeBron somewhere.
Oh.
LeBron is going to be guarded by
Yeah,
Durant.
who's going to go get him?
Anybody. Who cares? They can put anybody on it. The whole lineup can guard
We
LeBron.
will run that team
Giannis
today.
can guard him. Shoot, I would put Curry on him and play a box and one.
That's the only one I could.
Because this is why. Because everywhere, here's what a box one, if you've ever had it run against you, will drive you nuts because you want the ball in your hand. The ball is to keep it out of your hands. So you never get the ball where you want it. You never get the ball in a spot you like. You never get the ball when you want it. Usually you end up getting at the top of the key, having to move around, do something weird. Play the box and one on LeBron. Then you got 4 7-footers at each corner. LeBron likes to drive and kick. Let him do his driving. Let Curry aggravate his dribbling. And then
You'll still not be able to
y'all
run
might
with
not
us.
score a point.
You'll not be able to
Shut 'em
run
down.
with us.
Good job, Smoke. Good picking. They better not let that happen. You think so? So that's going to be the thing. Who's LeBron going to take with his first pick, and who will Curry take with his? Somebody's got to take Durant, I would imagine, and it's going to be interesting. All right, time for a break, Jock. You ready in there?
Honestly, the last thing on the NBA, if this All-Star game leads to something like what we saw this past week with the Rockets and Clippers, oh my gosh!
Yeah,
I mean it's going to be crazy.
That's going to bring up something in the next. We're going to have a quick, short segment next. All right, Jock, we'll be back in just a few minutes. KTCBroadcasting.com.
The RVer's most trusted resource for over 50 years. That's Campers Inn. Family owned and operated since 1966. And this area's dealer is Campers Inn in Kings Mountain, Highway 161 South at I-85. Campers Inn is the nation's largest family-operated RV dealership with 16 locations on the East Coast. From motorhomes to travel trailers and more, from the industry's leading manufacturers, plus award-winning RV sales and service. See hundreds of RVs at the best prices at Campers Inn, Highway 161 South at I-85 in Kings Mountain. Tell them Calvin sent you in to the Campers Inn. Today, more and more people are shopping and getting their information online. Here at KTC Broadcasting, we're making our websites easier for you to find out what you're looking for. At KTCBroadcasting.com, you can listen to all 3 of our radio stations, plus watch live video of high school sports, American Legion Baseball, Christmas parades, and other special events. At WhatsUpShopper.com, you'll find all kinds of deals from our local merchants. Shop our eBay store, plus swap shop items, along with community and church events and our local news. And at LincolnCounty.com, you'll find all the information you need concerning Lincoln County. From local businesses to government to school information, even today's local weather forecast. So click on and enjoy. That's KTCBroadcasting.com, the WhatsUpShopper.com, and LincolnCounty.com. The future is today.
Tee it up and let it fly at the Crowder's Mountain Golf Course.
the RVer's most trusted resource for over 50 years. That's Campers Inn, family owned and operated since 1966. And this area's dealer is Campers Inn in Kings Mountain, Highway 161 South at I-85. Campers Inn is the nation's largest family-operated RV dealership with 16 locations on the East Coast. From motorhomes to travel trailers and more, from the industry's leading manufacturers, plus award-winning RV sales and service. See hundreds of RVs at the best prices at Campers Inn, Highway 161 South at I-85 in Kings Mountain. Tell them Calvin sent you in to the Campers Inn.
Morning's here.
It's time to rise.
Wipe the sleep
From your sweet eyes,
The sun is up.
the sky is blue,
And so it is we sing to you.
Good morning, good morning. We hope you're feeling swell. Good morning, you look like hell.
Got to turn us on there. You just having a good morning there for a second. That's why you don't let the interns pick the music sometimes. They have a bad morning. Terry, welcome back down the hall. Saturday Sports Hall. I got a new rule. Let's see what y'all think about this. All right. You talk about the fighting in the hallway and stuff.
I mean,
Major League Baseball, they have the brawls and the hockeys have their fights. I think hockey gets it right.
Just let him go.
Well, I think so. Well, just hold on for a sec. Not totally right. What I think they get right about it is the penalty box. The penalty box should be in all sports. If you throw at a batter, you're in the penalty box. You charge them out, and you're in the penalty box the rest of the game. You sit there, you throw out, you got to sit there and watch them baseball. In basketball, you throw a punch, want to fight somebody, you're in the penalty box for 10 minutes. Football, personal fouls. You don't think they'll stop headhunting? You don't think they'll stop face masking? You're off the field for 5-minute penalty on personal fouls. What do you think, Terry?
Well, that all depends on what's in that player's mind. If I need a break and I'm being wore out, I'm going to go after somebody's head so I can go to the penalty box and relax for a little bit before I get to come back.
Hey, now look, nobody said this was tiddlywinks and rainbows. I mean, this is football. Nobody watches. See, and this is the thing about the kids today and everything. And here's why why it's different than say MMA and boxing, because we don't let our kids play MMA and boxing. So that's what everybody's scared to admit about football is that, hey, it might be really bad for you. You probably shouldn't. As it used to be, we used to say you're getting paid an adult. Go if you want to run into somebody. It's a violent sport. That's what we're watching. That's what's going on. That's the game. And now they're all worried about the injuries, and it causes different things. And I'm glad. I'm not letting my son play football. I played growing up. I'm not letting him play while he grows up. Maybe when he gets an adult and he wants to run over somebody, that might be his decision. But until then, no. So it's to me, it's just tough for us to admit, maybe and it's declined in Pop Warner in the younger ages. Please do not take nothing away from me saying that I don't like the game of football or anything like that. I love it. I love what
don't accuse him being soft.
Good gosh, no, please don't. But what I'm saying is that certain things are for certain ages, and I think maybe we've got to find a balance in the right research and the fact that the NFL has helped cover up some of the research and who pays for the researches.
And they're still hypocritical to this day about some of the stuff.
And then the rules they make, you never know. So my thing about it is, I like hockey's version of it. I don't think they should, if you can break up the fight, let them break up the fight. But just as soon as somebody drops the gloves and they just start fighting, the game stops. That's kind of silly. But the whole penalty box concept. For me, you got all these players over here on the sidelines, and if you want to act like a jerk, they always, do we fine them? Do we kick them out of the game? There's no middleman for that, and that's for me that'd be kind of a middleman to where you can say, hey, you're out a quarter, or 10 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever you can make. You can make small, incremental periods or incremental penalties for, so you allow the game to be what it is, yet penalize them, in a way that that is helpful to the game, maybe, and I don't know. Just looking for different ways to handle that. That's my new rule of the day. What do you think, Terry? Penalty box football. Football more than the other sports, probably.
Well, it all depends. If
Basketball, they ought to have a ring out
if you
back
go
and
by
let them punch each other.
The Mitchell from Pittsburgh, he'll tell you, well, then don't ever come out here. If you don't want to get hit.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Well, that was my point about it. The two, yeah, and I guess, and that's what's hard about that too, is that brings up the whole college thing. How many million? And that's the ethical question of the day. Is if it really is harmful, should they really be playing at this age? These kids that are playing in college, they're going at full speed. They're hitting each other hard. How many millions of dollars is being made off those kids putting their bodies at injury like that? So that's where the other question comes in too with that. We've got a lot of tough issues and questions to deal with that coming up. I would say on the horizon here in the next few years with the safety of the game and the rules and me and Smokes talking and joking the other day about LeVar Ball, wanting to start another league and he's the wrong person to do it. But there should be other semi-pro leagues in America. How many semi-pro baseball leagues are there? How many semi-pro baseball teams can you go play somewhere and
There's two I can think of in this area.
Right, and make a small living. You might have to get another job if you want to, but there's other ways to make money. Like, why isn't there other basketball and football leagues like that? Why is it all about the NCAA rule? Think about all the millions and billions of dollars that people pay to watch this. If it was a semi-pro league, like a minor league basketball, minor league football,
but they can't make it on account of sponsors. I mean, everybody.
No. Listen, I'm not talking about that, Terry. Think about it. If all the one and done players, if all the good college basketball players suddenly said, "We're going to go to the developmental league instead of going to college," the colleges wouldn't shut down. They still can play. They still got how many students go to NC State?
Yeah, they'll still.
They can find 12 people that can shoot a basketball. Yeah. They've got a JV team that can play. Yes, the college game might get worse. But what I'm saying is that there ought to be an alternative for these kids that are 18, 19 years old. You got holes in the floor in your house and no shoes, and the guy sitting there saying, "Well, I'm going to get paid $10 million to tell you to run up and down the floor while I give you some food for a couple years and the opportunity." And I understand that helps you, but it don't help your family for the next 3 or 4 years. It don't help you. It don't help that part of it. There ought to be a way, and LeVar Ball is right in the fact that there should be a league where you could go to that, but he's not the one to do it, of course. Good gosh. But I was telling Smoke, it could get in some silliness because if you really think about it, you've got LeVar Ball, and I'm really about to make Terry's head explode.
Oh no, you're going.
Someone just that knows LeVar Ball, that knows a little bit about minor league / alternative league football and sports, just sold part of his business for $100 million. Means he's got $100 million in cash ready to start. How much would you need to pay 6, 8, 10, 12 teams of basketball players? LeVar Ball said he's going to do $10,000 a month, and that's right about where you'd need about $100 million. You know what I'm talking about, Terry?
Not off the top of my head.
Smoke.
No. Mm-mm.
Last chance or no chance? How's the song go? Is that what you want to say to me? Mm-mm. No chance. Mm-mm. Vince McMahon. He's going to do it. Vince McMahon's got $100 million in cash. He's got LeVar Ball spotting out the mouth. You've got his kids in Lithuania. He's already done the XFL once. He's talking about doing another minor league.
He's already did this one time.
But you got to think,
and it didn't succeed.
I know, but there's different models of business. He didn't succeed. He wasn't in the Twitter land world then. He wasn't in the internet land world then.
He doesn't get that stuff. Trust me.
No.
It took him about 5 years too late to get into the Twitter.
Y'all act like I'm saying we're going to have a perfectly run league. Y'all don't think he would just throw money at it and do that just for the fun of it, just to see if he could make money out of it?
Yeah, I think he would.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
I don't think he's going to make anything out of it.
I didn't say that. I know he's probably not.
He doesn't get it.
But what I'm saying is that there's a good chance he might be right in the middle of this stuff, because he's already talked about doing another football league with this, and now he's got LeVar talking about a basketball league, and that would be way cheaper than a football league. Starting a basketball league, way cheaper than a football. They already got the big three running on TV.
Well,
and they won't be on tape delay this year.
I mean, think about it. You get Marvin Bagley and all these kids to come for they're in there for a year, and all they need to be in there is for that year before the NBA can technically draft them, and they'll change that rule real quick, and then start bringing them into the NBA DL. That's what I don't understand is why is the NBA that they've got some type of backhand deal with the colleges, or they would be promoting and really pushing this NBA DL.
I think
G League,
some of it is
they would be paying Marvin Bagley. Why did they make that rule, Smoke? Think about it. It's not the college's rule. It's the NBA's rule. The Players Association wanted that rule so the veterans would get extra years in the league. But the NBA, if they could, they would rather take Marvin Bagley and pay him $1 million to be in the G League, wouldn't they, than him going to Duke? Yeah. So there's got to be some type of... There's an agreement. There's something going on there. Did you see the Bagley thing this morning? He might be ineligible now. Did you know that, Smoke?
I mean, that was kind of suspicious how he got to Duke, so I'm not
Well,
surprised.
not that. Here's the story. So Marvin Bagley's father has this drawing artwork of Bagley screaming. Have you seen these t-shirts?
Oh, yeah.
T-shirts?
I know where you're going with this.
So the Bagley T-shirts, Terry, have you heard this story? Have you seen it?
Go ahead.
His dad was going to try to sell the T-shirts. The NCAA told him he couldn't sell the T-shirts of his own son, of course, and make money off of the likeness of his image because now the NCAA owns his son's image. So he can't sell anything with a picture of his own son on it, or the NCAA can tell him he's ineligible. That's not the part he's in trouble for. Here's where it gets crazy. So his dad decided to give out the T-shirts instead. Someone makes a copy of the T-shirts, okay, does the T-shirts themselves, they start selling the T-shirts online. Part of the rules, or the NCAA rules is that if someone else is making money off your likeness, it is your job and your lawful responsibility to make them stop, which means you have to hire lawyers, you have to pay for lawyers and other folks to make them stop. So it has to come out of your pocket. If the Bagley family does not pay their lawyers and everyone to make these people stop, the NCAA can say someone else besides us is making money off your likeness, which makes you ineligible, which means you're out of school, out of the NCAA, because someone else is making money off you and you can't pay enough to stop them. That is what's going on with Marvin Bagley right now in Duke. Thoughts?
He's only going to be there for about 2-3 more months.
That's not the issue at hand.
I mean, he's eventually going to get paid.
Smoke. See, the issue isn't about Bagley.
I know.
The issue is about the NCAA rules.
I know. And a lot of it's stupid and hypocritical.
Yeah. So the rules are saying Bagley's not making money off of it, even though he could be making money off of it. Someone else, that'd be like, so if I take a picture of Roseboro at NC State and put it on a T-shirt, and I sell T-shirts here in Cherryville with his picture on it, the NCAA could come to NC State and rule Roseboro ineligible.
I mean, this is kind of a similar situation to what we saw back in the late 80s with the Catholics versus convicts T-shirt. I mean, all that Notre Dame printing company that those students were running, they had so many counterfeit stuff, wherever it was Budweiser T-shirts, or as they said in the 30 for 30, they were also selling the one with the Newt Rockney on the ticket as a T-shirt. They were breaking all the rules, but they were still doing it because it was making a lot of money. So I mean, it's not exactly like that, but it's kind of in the same ballpark in terms of T-shirts being involved in it, and the NCAA trying to crack down on it.
Terry,
that's a tough situation to even think about. I mean, number one, if I send my son to Duke and they gave him a scholarship, then you really took my rights away, because now all of a sudden he's become NCAA bound. They're going to make everything off him they can, where I'm going to make nothing. But that's still my son.
Is that constitutional?
Well, that's true. But if there's black and white writing that's in their bylaws stating this before he ever goes, then what can happen.
But you're
right. You know what I'm saying?
But the thing is, that's not what they're in trouble for right now, because they're not the ones selling it.
Yeah, somebody else is doing it. But how do we know that money's not filtering back around to
That's true, but that's really not the issue. The issue doesn't care about that, actually. The issue is,
I've got to stop them.
No, that too. But the issue at the end of all of it, at the end of the day, what is the biggest issue is the NCAA is mad that someone else is making money off Bagley instead of them. It's not the dad. Say the dad's not making money right now, so that's not an issue right now. So good job, Dad. You made some T-shirts. It's the fact that someone else is making money off of them and not the NCAA, in which they're saying, Bagley, you have to tell them to stop and force them to stop so we can make money. Not you, we can make money. So at the end of the day, no matter which side that this road goes down, at the end of the day, it's the NCAA making money, and if you impede them from making money, no matter whether you have anything to do with the kid or not, if I'm making money off one of their kids, they're suing you, and that kid is ineligible. That's what they're saying. That's how a lawyer would break that down.
But if I don't have the money to stop them, then it looks like that should go back on the NCAA to say, okay, we'll stop it. I mean, but now I would also be figuring out, because if I was on the other hand, are you doing this where you're not making money, but money's being filtered back around where you're going to get some anyway?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's what they would have to check into.
I understand
but I'm also
them worried about that if that's the rule.
But by the time all this is done, Bagley's done anyway.
That's not what the NCAA cares about. They're not after this to make him ineligible. They're after this to make that the $50 that somebody made on that T-shirt. They have to, because that's the way the rules set up, because they have to protect their money that way, because if they don't, the whole system will crumble. Because that's the way they've got the system set up, is that every bit of that money made off that kid has to be through us, because if it's not, it changes the whole thing. And that's where they get into problems. And that could be going on everywhere.
Adidas. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And Emmerich came out this past week.
Yeah, but there's big money in Adidas.
So Emmerich came out, was it yesterday, the day before, and just railed on the basketball, how we've got to fix this and all that. And then he never mentioned, or he made a no comment on the Michigan State Olympic gymnast sex trial. Made a no comment on that.
With what, over 100?
Over 100 people. Yeah. No comment on that. So NCAA, Terry, and we talk about this in North Carolina. At what point do these colleges and schools stop paying this association that doesn't really have anything to do with them money to tell them to give them rules? Like North Carolina doesn't have to stay in the NCAA. There's no rule that says I have to be in the NCAA partner. Mm-hmm. All the SEC or SEC schools have to do is say, bye NCAA. They've got the money to do it now. Bye. We're going to start this is our league. We'll call ourselves the national champions. We're going to add 20 teams, 30 teams into it. What if the ACC, SEC joined and just said, bye NCAA? We're going to pay our players. At some point, someone's going to do it. Speaking of North Carolina, time for break, Jock. I'm sorry, we went a little long on that one. Speaking of that, North Carolina Tar Heels this year, we host the national champions in Chapel Hill. UCF coming to Chapel Hill, Terry. Yeah. Big time. Get ready, Tar Heels. All right, we'll be back in just a few minutes. KTCBroadcasting.com. We're going to play a double break here, Jock. Double break.
The RVer's most trusted resource for over 50 years. That's Campers Inn. Family owned and operated since 1966. And this area's dealer is Campers Inn in Kings Mountain, Highway 161 South at I-85. Campers Inn is the nation's largest family-operated RV dealership with 16 locations on the East Coast. From motorhomes to travel trailers and more, from the industry's leading manufacturers, plus award-winning RV sales and service. See hundreds of RVs at the best prices at Campers Inn, Highway 161 South at I-85 in Kings Mountain. Tell them Calvin sent you in to the Campers Inn.
Hey, you don't have to be a member of the Cherryville Golf and Country Club to come out and eat. Everyone is welcome. Try their famous Sunday buffet from 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. And they're open for dinner each and every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night from 5 p.m. until. And ask about their Chicken on the Run on Sundays. Get a whole chicken and 2 sides for only $14.50. Place your order by calling 704-435-6597 for your Chicken on the Run. Voted the best chicken in Cherryville at the Cherryville Golf and Country Club off Roy Acre Road in Cherryville.
There you go, Ann. Your new account is now open. Just one more little thing.
Here's your card.
What was that?
It's my new bank. Every time I turn around, I get hit with another fee.
You need to get an account at Carolina Federal Credit Union.
She's right.
Tired of getting hit by bank fees? Switch to Carolina Federal Credit Union today. Make those pains go away.
Here's your receipt.
For excellence in funeral and cremation services, talk with Carpenter Porter Funeral and Cremation Services in Cherryville, promoting the highest ethical and professional standards while maintaining cost-effective service. Call 704-435-6711 or come and talk with funeral directors John Porter and Hannah Garrett, offering you guidance during one of life's most difficult times. Carpenter Porter Funeral and Cremation Service, 1100 East Main Street in Cherryville, a member of the National and North Carolina Funeral Directors Associations. The new year brings new big savings from Renato Auto Mall in Shelby. Get up to $9,000 in total value on the new 2018 GMC Sierra 1500 four-wheel drive crew cab with SLT Premium Plus package. Plus drive away in a new 2017 Buick Envision, now at $7,500 below MSRP. And the new 2000 Kia Stinger has arrived at only $299 per month for a 36-month lease. And get the 2018 Honda Fit for $169 a month for 36 months. See Ronaldo for all the details. Renato Auto Mall, 4423 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Online at RenatoAutomall.com. The RVer's most trusted resource for over 50 years. That's Campers Inn, family owned and operated since 1966. And this area's dealer is Campers Inn in Kings Mountain, Highway 161 South at I-85. Campers Inn is the nation's largest family operated RV dealership with 16 locations on the East Coast. From motorhomes to travel trailers and more, from the industry's leading manufacturers, plus award-winning RV sales and service. See hundreds of RVs at the best prices at Campers Inn, Highway 161 South at I-85 in Kings Mountain. Tell them Calvin sent you in to the Campers Inn.
Dr. John L. Cloninger III of Lincoln. Brighten your smiles with professional cosmetic dentistry and smile enhancement procedures for everyone. Even Duke fans will smile at the work of this Tar Heel. The office of Dr. John L. Cloninger III is located at 904 Doncha Drive. For an appointment, call 704-735-0765. That's 704-735-0765. And John III says best wishes to all high school athletes.
Maybe a punctuation mark on a career night for Bryce Johnson.
The new year brings new big savings from Renato Auto Mall in Shelby. Get up to $9,000 in total value on the new 2018 GMC Sierra 1500 four-wheel drive crew cab with SLT Premium Plus package. Plus drive away in a new 2017 Buick Envision, now at $7,500 below MSRP. And the new 2018 Kia Stinger has arrived at only $299 per month for a 36-month lease. And get the 2018 Honda Fit for $169 a month for 36 months. See Ronaldo for all the details. Renato Auto Mall, 4423 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Online at RenatoAutomall.com.
The tradition.
Every day I get to put those 4 letters across my chest.
The Blue Devils have scaled basketball's tallest mountain for the 5th time. With passion. Pulls up for the 3. Got it!
All that matters is winning games. That's what Duke is built on.
Give it go. And he dunks it home. This is Duke basketball.
Are we going to make some noise this year?
Look away for the two-hand check.
Comes free from 3 and buries it dead on.
Follow the Blue Devils all season long on your home for Duke basketball.
Duke, North Carolina, and Clemson basketball. Right here on the Boss in Carolina Country and online at KTCBroadcasting.com.
Is the cost of ink driving your profits down? Then listen up. Discount Ink Jet and Toner is here to help. Discount Ink Jet and Toner specializes in refilling ink jet and toner cartridges. Cut your ink costs by as much as 50% or more. Discount Ink Jet and Toner, located on 410 East Franklin Boulevard in Gastonia. 100% satisfaction guaranteed.
Hit over 400 yards. Welcome back. Campers Inn, Saturday Sports Talk, breakfast by Mitchum's Kitchen. I had egg and cheese this morning, Terry. What'd you have?
Liver mush, bologna on a bun.
Smoke.
I had the good old sausage biscuit.
Josh, you have chicken and jelly. Is that? Do you put the jelly on top of the biscuit, in the middle, or on the chicken? How do you make your chicken and jelly biscuit? Hit your button in there and talk. You gotta turn your mic on. There you go.
I put it on the chicken.
Okay, and then squish the bread on it?
Yes.
Okay, I just wondered how to make it. Grape jelly on a chicken biscuit. I'm going to have to try that one day. Mitchum's Kitchen Sports Talk. Campers Inn Saturday Sports Talk, breakfast by Mitchum's Kitchen. They're open 7 days a week, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Give them a call today, 704-276-1155. Campers Inn of Kings Mountain. Get on out there today, right off 85, right there behind the McDonald's. They're off 85. There's 2 McDonald's in Kings Mountain, folks. One kind of downtownish main area on the east end, the other on the other end. 174, one off right there off 85. All right, NFL action. Playoff weekend. Terry, we didn't get into this last week. As you got out of here, you missed 2 of your picks. You had the Steelers and Falcons with wins. You got Minnesota and New England. You almost got the score on New England. Minnesota, you missed by a point as far as the spread. But, we talked about that a little bit earlier. The magical point spread that was. New England with a big win. Steelers lose to Jacksonville after Le'Veon Bell apparently misses the team walkthrough before the game.
And this is, I think, the second straight year we've had some controversy come from a big player in a big game. Because remember last year it came out after the game that Antonio Brown, who was sponsored with Facebook Live, did a Facebook Live in the locker room at halftime against the Patriots. I mean, and this is just the arrogance of the Steelers organization right now that they weren't even thinking about Jacksonville. I mean, guys like Mike Mitchell were saying before that game, they didn't even mention Jacksonville. They're saying, yeah, we're going to beat New England. It doesn't matter if we're in Haiti. It doesn't matter if, Antarctica, wherever. We're going to beat the Patriots. And they don't even do it because they freaking overlook a team that has one of the best defense we've seen in the last 10 years. And even though they gave up 42, 2 of those plays were on fourth and long heaves that, were kind of plays that were kind of hard to stop. And also they scored on the last play from scrimmage. So, I mean, I think Jacksonville's defense, despite giving up 42, did its job.
So we talk all the time about defense and championships, and this week's What's Up Shopper, check it out this week. I make a lot of points. I got to go pick – Jock, go find me a What's Up Shopper. There may be one there in around you if you'll look around. If not, I know there's some outside, and we'll need to get one of those. Pick up this week's What's Up Shopper on newsstands today. Was delivered. Some of them delivered Thursday. Some of them delivered Friday with the weather out and about this week. But check out my article as I break down some of the playoffs and what's happened these past few weeks. We've had some teams eliminated, and I talk about a little bit about what happened to them and where they can go from here and what's going forward. I'm gonna break that down in just a minute. Oh, nope, that's last week's. You need a new one with a train on it. But I'll get into that in just a minute, but here's some notes. One of my main points is defense wins championships was the point of the article this week, Terry. Only 7 times in NFL history, that's 51 Super Bowls, has there been a team outside the top 10 won the Super Bowl. Only 1 time in NFL history has 2 teams outside the top 10 played. That was the Baltimore Super Bowl a few years back that Joe Flacco actually won. So there's that. This year, though, will be the first time, however, since 1970, that all 4 championship teams were in the top 5 in scoring defense. So, throughout the year, I like to point the top 10 scoring defense. Those are the teams you look for your champions, and we're here down to the last week, and it's 4 of the top 5 scoring defense. Vikings 1, Jaguars 2, Eagles 4, Patriots 5. Now, that miracle that happened on Sunday, the Marcus Williams play, I thought I'd saw the worst safety play of my life when the Georgia kid didn't even look at the guy running straight right past him. Then Marcus Williams happened. Couple of things, notes on the play. I don't know what coverage they were in. It looked like a undercover 2 or something, some type of. But my thing is, Terry, in that situation, why would you not go into a man cover 2, man cover 3, to where each receiver has 1 guy on him, okay, and then you have 2 safeties deep or 3 safeties deep if you're really that scared something crazy will happen, and then rush 3 or 4. Case Keenum ain't running 78 yards for a touchdown or whatever it was. So that's the most simplest defense in the world to me to play, and I know coaches don't like to play it a lot because if you go man cover deep 2, what that leaves is the running game for the quarterback, or if someone gets open in a flat, they'll give you some room underneath. But on the last play of the game, you need 80 yards. You go man cover 2. You put a person on every person, and then you got 2 safeties deep. You don't have to worry about it. Instead, they've got Minnesota's running 3 people into a zone with 3 defenders, and it's only manned up there. And one guy misses. What happens? He's running down the sideline, and then he takes out his own teammate. So, not only was it a bad play by Williams, it was bad coaching too. And then he's over there doing the skull.
Well, I mean,
the skull chant with the fans and the choke signs and everything else.
I mean, honestly, Williams was in place. It's just he messed up. I mean, even if he would have hit him, as we said, it's not a foregone conclusion.
Well, I'm saying there should have been another person there based on just coverage calls.
Okay.
So, yes, he was in the right place based on coverage.
Yeah.
Based on the call, he was in the right place, and he didn't make the play. You're right.
And honestly, it's not it. The play was there to be made. If he would have made a tackle at the right time, he would have probably kept him in bounds, and the game would have been over because Minnesota was out of timeouts. But then again, we got to remember, too, that also on that last drive for New Orleans, they had it 3rd and 1 on the 26. All they had to do is get 1 more yard, run out the clock to about 5 seconds, and that's now the second time Kevin's done that. And then you kick the game-winning field goal for Lutz, and you go on to Philadelphia. But instead, they can't get 1 yard against the Minnesota defense, and they get the field goal, put at least enough time to where maybe a miracle could happen, and a miracle did happen for Minnesota to advance.
Yeah, and Smoke, it happened on a play that I saw Williams not even looking at the receiver. When he come in, I don't know what he was looking at. He was looking towards the ground like the guy's going to hit me on the top. I'm going to knock him down. But he missed him. And then he wipes out the other defender that's behind him, where Diggs ends up coming up on his feet, and then he was gone. I mean, you always sit back, and I know when the NFL does histories and they show plays, that's going to be one of the plays that's always going to be in the history books.
It's going to be on loop as one of the biggest crowd reactions because the sideline, just you could hear the stadium just go bonkers. The sound seemed like it was going to blow the top off the stadium. And it created a big moment, especially for a team that has been a snake bitten. They've been on the other side of stuff like that for so many years. I mean, just go all the way back to the first ever Hail Mary with Roger Staubach back in 74, 75. Yep. I mean, ever since then, it's just that stuff like that has been on loop for the Vikings.
Gary Anderson missed a field goal.
Yeah, let's see. Brett Favre froze an interception against New Orleans, and I mean, it's so many stuff has happened to this franchise over the years.
And one of the biggest things before that, you saw Sean Payton over on the side going boom like that, like we stuck that in them. I mean, this game's over with. We're gonna win, and it did not happen. He ends up getting snake bit himself. Sometimes you pump yourself up. That's the reason when people talk about coaches, and they always talk about Tom Landry never did show no emotion. Bill Belichick really never shows no emotion. They're always the same key, because then when people look back on that, they're going to say, oh, yeah, Sean Payton thought this game was history when he is over running down the sideline hollering, boom, against them.
He's definitely one of the best offensive minds in the past 15, 20 years, if not ever. It does help when you have Drew Brees. First day you get in, you took a chance on him because, I mean, people were – it was a pretty risky move at the time, taking Drew Brees with his injury history from San Diego. But I think he's great, but he's really arrogant, and I think his arrogance have gotten the better of him this past week. And honestly, if things would have went a little bit different the week before, that arrogance on going for 4th and 2 could have been different against the Panthers. So it's just I think it's just the aggressive mindset of Sean Payton.
So let me look at some of my picks last few weeks. In the paper, you don't know who's playing in the second round, so you can't. So if there's an upset or something different, and the numbers change, it messes up your whole thing. So I kind of can't really go by what I went on that because I missed a couple there in the first, which changed. The Falcons beating the Rams really changed everything in my picks. It messed up the seeds. Championship round, I had 3 of the 4 gone already. I had Rams, Saints, and Steelers all in the championship round, and none of them decided to make it for my originals. Backing up to last week, though, here's our picks last week, Terry. Terry and Smoke had Atlanta, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, and New England. Both of you had both those exact same teams.
We both went 2 for 2.
I went 2 for 2, but I missed different games. We all missed Atlanta. We all didn't think Nick Foles would pull it off. He scored a grand total of what? 15 points and one.
Good
job, Atlanta. Give up. Jeez.
I
New
think I
Orleans,
put the curse on Atlanta.
and then New Orleans gets beat by me with the miracle that we just got through talking about. So I missed on both of those. But I did get Jacksonville last week, Terry, while you was in the car. I don't know if you heard that one. I picked the Jaguars and the Patriots. So I got the AFC right as of last week going into those games. You know that defense, and we talked about Pittsburgh was going to implode at some point.
I mean, it might implode this. I mean, it just you don't know if Ben's.
Here's the thing: their offense scored how many points?
42.
So it's not the offense's problem.
It's just the egos in that locker room.
They scored 42 on the Jaguars' defense. You expect to win. You look over there like Coach Tomlin. Where's your defense? The guy you just cut 2 weeks ago got 2 sacks. I mean,
yeah, and people saying, well, they didn't have Shazier. Well, that same defense kind of got carved up by Leonard Fournette in that first game with Ryan Shazier.
And Tomlin's supposed to be a defensive coach, right?
But I gave him a lot of credit though. Pittsburgh were down 28-7. They could have gave up then, but they come back. But by the time they would get within a touchdown, they would do something else that was just plain stupid on defense, exactly. And Jacksonville would score again.
Well, I understand what you're saying there, because most teams would have packed it up by then. But you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't care that Jacksonville defense is one of the best in 10 years. Looking at that offense, that's one of the best offenses we've seen in the last 10 years. And it doesn't even look like you show up till towards the end of the second quarter. You shouldn't be doing that. You took these guys for granted, and they took advantage of you guys taking them for granted. Mike Mitchell going up to the locker room of Jacksonville right before the game yelling with the closed doors. You were asking for it, basically. You were all high and mighty up, on Cloud 9 thinking, well, we got this. We don't even need to try. And guess what? You had a team that you went against that was hungrier than you, that was younger than you, that was faster than you, that just I hate that cliche of wanting it more, but I think in this case it does apply because Pittsburgh wasn't even focusing, it doesn't seem like, on this game.
Offensive-wise was where Jacksonville beat them because their defense for Jacksonville gave up 42 points.
Mm-hmm. But most of that, as I said, came on some, I think, fluke-type plays, 4th and long, and they'll just heave it up. And
one right before halftime to cut it 28-14.
And you also got to remember that Jacksonville's defense basically gave their offense 14 points because Miles Jack made an incredible interception, getting both feet in bounds and hanging on to the ball. Then the next play, Leonard Fournette scores a touchdown. Then you have the fumble recovery for a touchdown. So that's 14 points. That swings in the favor of Jacksonville because of their defense.
Speaking of their defense, NFL research on some of the Jags' defense, guys. Fewer points than the 2015 Denver Broncos. They've had fewer yards per pass allowed than the 2013 Seattle Seahawks. They've had more sacks than the 2002 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Better third down defense than the 2000 Ravens. And more defensive touchdowns than the 1985 Bears. There's you some neat stats on the Jaguars' defense. Let's look at some other stats going into this weekend that I found interesting. In fact, since 2001, Patriots are 14-0 in the playoffs versus teams that they did not face in the regular season. They did not play the Jaguars in the regular season.
Facts.
Fact number 2, the Patriots are 12-9 versus teams that they actually played in the regular season. It's almost a 500 ball team when they play a team a second time. Undefeated when they play a team without playing them before. First time in Brady's postseason career, he's been officially listed as questionable. 17 times he's been probable. He's went 11-6.
Well, I think we do need to mention that the probable was vanished from the injury report about a year or two ago. So I think that does play a factor in some of the.
Case Keenum is only the second quarterback in the Super Bowl era to start his career 0-8 and reach a conference championship game. Terry, who is the other one?
Oh, I have no idea.
Was it Jim Plunkett?
Nope. Terry, you should know.
Start 0-8.
The only one other quarterback in his career started 0-8 and reached a conference championship game.
Oh, Troy Aikman.
Yeah. Okay.
I forgot 1 in 15.
Troy Aikman. And how many conference championship games he make? 4 or 5? At least 4 I know of. Did they make another one?
Not after they won that last
I don't think they did.
No,
they made
I don't
4.
think so. I think
they went 3-1 in conference championship games, losing to San Francisco. Or did they lose to to Green Bay, and was that a challenge?
No, they never lost to Green Bay in the conference championship.
Okay.
No.
Green Bay beat the Niners. They kept losing in the second round, right?
Yeah, the Green Bay kept on beating the Niners until the T.O. catch in '98.
Mm-hmm. Dallas lost his dumb playoff games to teams like the Panthers and the Lions. Can't do stupid stuff like that.
You are the Lions' last playoff win.
Oh, this is Tom Coughlin against the Patriots also. He's got Mr. Belichick's number.
Yeah, and because of the time he lost to the Patriots, that was when Parcells was the head coach. Because, I mean, this is a rematch from the 96 AFC Championship.
But he also don't have Eli.
He's got Blake Bortles, Terry.
Yeah.
He's got Blake. But will Eli be a Jaguar next year if they don't win the Super Bowl?
Would not be surprised.
If they don't if they get beat Sunday, will Eli be a Jaguar next year? That is a good question. You know, the Hog Molly or Hog Father's got some choices up there to make, Smoke. What do you think he's going to do up there with that?
Well, I mean, I think one thing he's definitely going to do is revamp the offensive line, and I think that's a pretty good guy to give it to is Dave Gettleman. But, I mean, it'll really be interesting to see what Jacksonville does with the quarterback. I mean, I don't know. What if Jacksonville wins the Super Bowl? What are they going to do? Are they going to give Blake Bortles re-sign him? I mean,
what if any of them win the Super Bowl besides New England? What if Foles wins the Super Bowl? What if Keaton wins the Super Bowl? Are you paying him $25 million a year to keep him?
I mean,
if Foles wins the Super Bowl, are you running him out of town after you've already run him out once?
No, because I mean, he got in there when Carson Wentz already. By the time he got in there, they already clinched the playoff spot.
What if he wins the Super Bowl? Be an underdog in
Not a soul.
Be an underdog in 3 straight games.
Philly would let him walk. Philly
Not
would
a
let him
soul
walk.
thought he had beat Atlanta.
If you win the Super Bowl, I would guess that you're at least getting another year or two on a contract at the same place you're at. At least 2 years, I would think. But Philly's in a very
Dilfer didn't stay in.
Philly's in a tough
Baltimore.
situation. I don't know that. I think they might have cut Trent Dilfer.
He went to Seattle. He went to Seattle. So I mean, it's not a guy like Nick Foles. I don't think so. But Keenum would be interesting because all 3 of Minnesota's quarterbacks are free agents after this year. That includes Teddy Bridgewater, and Keenum's the most healthy of them all. He hasn't had that much injury history, or not to the severity of Teddy Bridgewater and Sam Bradford. But, I mean, you also got to realize that his offensive coordinator, Pat Shurmur, is going to be going to the Giants after this year.
And cannot the Super Bowl really mess people up? I mean, Larry Brown that played for Dallas, he become a all-star after Super Bowl against Pittsburgh.
He's rich.
Yeah, you know.
Well, I mean, look at Joe Flacco.
Was he ever heard of again?
Well, look at Joe Flacco. Look at the deal he got. That's because he won a Super Bowl.
I mean, sometimes I sit back and I see players that make choices after they are in a Super Bowl or stuff. Harper from Dallas was another one that went to Tampa Bay. Never was heard of again. You know, I mean, sometimes you got to understand to stay where you're at and take.
But Terry,
I know money is the thing. It is.
You can't tell a guy, hey, you stay here and be the second fiddle for half as less money.
I mean,
be the number one guy.
Perfect example of that. We got someone in the conference championship that did that same thing a couple years ago. Malik Jackson, remember him from the Denver Broncos? Guess where he went? He took the money and went to Jacksonville. People thought he was crazy. Now look, he's in the AFC Championship game, and if he would have stayed in Denver, he would be at his home sitting on his couch because they can't find a quarterback to save their lives.
Tom Coughlin, career 5-1 against Bill Belichick, including Cleveland. For you Cleveland Brown sports fans, we'll talk about them in just a few minutes. We're going to talk about the draft in here in a minute. Let's talk about this week's games. What we're going to do about who we got. Well, what's going to happen? We're going to have a terrible Super Bowl matchup. I mean, think about it, folks. If Brady don't play this weekend, we have Brian Hoyer versus Blake Bortles. Nick Foles versus Case Keenum. And then we'll spend the next 7 months arguing about how good Cam Newton, Joe Flacco, and Colin Kaepernick are. We'll talk about how is Dak Prescott good enough to win a Super Bowl? Was Tony Romo ever good enough to win a Super Bowl? Was Bernie Kosar? Was Dan Marino? Were all these people ever good enough to win a Super Bowl? Because all that goes out the window if Brady don't win the Super Bowl, don't it?
Well, I mean, honestly, if Brady wins the Super Bowl, I think this would be one of his most impressive because he'd have to go against the Jaguars defense and beat them, Then you'd have to either go against the
Either
Philly
the one
defense
of
or the
them.
Minnesota
Yeah.
defense. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
it's
good defense.
arguably going to be the two best defenses he goes
you
against.
said that, but I think I saw something yesterday because of the quarterback play on all the other teams that the Patriots actually had the easiest Super Bowl based on the quarterback plays, the easiest Super Bowl in NFL history path to the Super Bowl if they win it. That's just on the quarterbacks. You remember, like Smoke just said, and I just said it's about the defenses.
And my first prediction when we get to it was New England to win by a ton.
By a ton?
With Brady
against
quarterbacking.
Jacksonville?
Yeah.
I mean, if Brady's playing and he stays healthy throughout the game, I feel like the Patriots win. But
if anybody's blowing out, I'm picking Jacksonville to blow somebody out.
Honestly,
I ain't picking New England to blow anybody out.
I think it'll be close. I think this game will be closer than what. I mean, what's the spread? 9. I think it'll be within 9 points. I think
it's down to 7.5 now.
7.5. Okay,
because of Brady's injury.
Some of the bookies too. We're picking the under a bit. I'll go New England wins 20-16. I think it'll be closer than a lot of people are expecting it to be, just because of that defense of Jacksonville.
This is mine. Without Brady, New England wins 24-14. Without him,
Brian Hoyer's gonna get 24.
If he's in the game, New England wins 42-14.
No.
I'm going to pick those same scores, but I'm going to pick the opposite. Jacksonville wins by those scores, just the opposite, Terry.
I just got through saying
I'm picking the opposite.
I'm the only one picking a close game.
New England plays somebody that haven't played in regular season, they're undefeated.
That's with Tom Brady.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying with
going
Brady.
to
If he's in the game, Belichick and Brady will eat that Jacksonville defense alive.
I mean, but if Jacksonville wins this game, and it's because Tom Brady doesn't play, I mean, don't you think if you're Jimmy Garoppolo, you're probably smoking a cigar or sipping your tea right now, saying, "Yeah, you could have used me, and now I'm going to get paid over $100 million by the San Francisco 49ers." I mean,
it's all right, but you know what? He's out in San Francisco,
and he doesn't even have to worry about people saying, "Oh, you never won a Super Bowl." He already has 2 by basically doing nothing.
He did. That's exactly right.
I mean, he'll probably want to get one on his own, but still, he at least has that to fall back on. But I just can't trust Blake Bortles.
All right, we'll come back in just a few minutes. Jock, give me another minute or two before we ain't ready to hit the button yet. I had a couple more points to make about defenses, but just telling you to get ready. We'll come back in a minute and talk a little bit about next year, draft, what's going up in the draft. But Terry, I want to make some quick points about defenses this year, and this will give you an idea. And I'm going to use the Cowboys as a comparison because, you know, they've been to 8 Super Bowls, 5-3. Not a single time in those 8 Super Bowls was the team ranked above 10th. In their Super Bowl appearances, here's the Dallas Cowboys defensive rankings: 4th, 7th, 5th, 3rd, 8th, 9th, 2nd, 3rd. Smoke, how many Dallas Cowboy defenders can you name off the top of your head on those teams?
Leon Lett, for obvious reasons. The safety. His name Darren Woodson. Let's see. Some other guys. David Irving, one of them. No.
He plays now.
Oh, okay. Well,
Deion Sanders, ever heard of him?
Deion Sanders, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So all right, now start naming Dallas Cowboys you played offense on those Super Bowl teams.
Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin. Oh gosh, I know that offensive line was pretty good. They were what they call themselves, the Wall or something like that.
No, not even close. Well, you know, there's some older teams. You know, Roger Staubach.
Tony Dorsett.
Roger Staubach, Tony Dorsett.
Well, the point is that you can name a lot of offensive players on those Cowboys teams, right?
Oh yeah, because offense sells tickets.
And defense, you can't, right? So
Bob Lilly.
Back it up again. Here's their defensive ranks, Terry, in the years that Dallas Cowboys made the Super Bowl: 4, 7, 5, 3, 8, 9, 2, and 3. All right. Now let's look at each quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, what they had on their teams. Roger Staubach, I put 2-2. He's 2-1 in the Super Bowl. I messed up. I'm gonna have Cowboys fans call me. My fact checker didn't know that. I meant to check that and fix that myself, and I didn't. Dang it. All right. Staubach, 2-1 Super Bowls. He played with Tony Dorsett, who retired as the NFL all-time leading rusher. So he had a little help over on offense, too, didn't he, Terry? Calvin, I mean, the Bob Hayes was pretty fast, wasn't he? His defenses, Terry, 4, 4, 7, 6, 7, 10, 9, 5, 8, 3, and 12. Average, 7th. Troy Aikman was 3-0 in Super Bowls. Lost another conference championship game. He played with Emmitt Smith, who retired as, and still is, the NFL all-time leading rusher. Troy's defenses, 24th, they went 1-15. 15th, 9-7.
Was that the year Burline came in?
The first, what are you talking
second year.
What do you mean?
Wasn't Aikman hurt and then they made the playoffs and lost to the Lions?
Yes.
Okay.
Then it went 17. After now, the fourth year. Listen to this. Here's the years that you know when they were doing good. 5, 3, 2, 3, 3. I mean that's the years they were making Super Bowls. 5, 3, 2, 3, and 3. 13, 3, 5, and his last year 22nd.
Yeah, that last year was pretty bad for both.
Overall, Troy Aikman's defenses, Terry, ranked 9th.
And that's kind of a little skewed with his first year or two and the last year.
And that's including a 1-15 year and his last year in the league. and he had a concussion last year in the league.
No, those last few years didn't he have concussion?
Well, yeah, he had happy feet. He was moving around more than he ever did. Now, so we've got the 7th-ranked defense overall with Staubach on average through 10 years or 11 years, and we got Aikman the same thing, 9th through 10, 11 years. Tony Romo, who owns all the Cowboys' passing records. Here's the running backs he's played with, Terry. What do they rank in the top 10 all time? DeMarco Murray, Felix Jones, Julius Jones, Marion Barber, Darian McFadden.
And you only had...
And I probably missed a couple other scrubs.
Well, you only had probably DeMarco really for 1 year.
He had one good year. Where did his defenses rank, Terry? Tony Romo's defenses. You just guess his average.
I'm just going to guess an average of 18.
Worse.
Okay, there we go. I know they wasn't good, so there
21st.
21st.
Tony Romo's defenses ranked 21st in the league on average in his 8 years as a starter for the Dallas Cowboys. Troy's 9th had the all-time leading rusher. Roger Staubach's 7th had the all-time leading rusher. Romo 21st and had Marion Barber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you didn't want the other running back with dreads for some reason.
Oh, I love Steven Jackson. They should have picked him. That was bad. All right. So, my point was, so before you go into championship weekend wondering how and why Case Keenum, Nick Foles, and Blake Bortles have made it this far, remember, it's about the defenses. Trent Dilfer, remember Brad Johnson, Rex Grossman, Colin Kaepernick, and even Cam, but he was the MVP at least, lost the Super Bowl recently without lighting it up passing. So, I mean, just looking in Dallas Cowboys history, it just proves that, you can talk about how great Roger was or how great Troy was. You look at them; they were helped by a lot of defense and rushing. And these teams, that's what we've got 3 out of 4 this weekend, and that's exactly what they do. And that's what we got.
Well, and this is the first time in a while we've seen teams like this that are carried by their defenses, making it too. I mean,
but we talk about it all the time. I mean, some people say they don't like games where it's 45-42 like Pittsburgh and them was last week. I like the games where the defense, like the Atlanta, Philly. Mm-hmm. I mean, Philadelphia, their defense, what stopped Atlanta when they were driving for the winning touchdown.
I guess a good defensive struggle for you non-football fans, for you soccer fans out there, it's kind of like a soccer match.
I would say
1-0
every now, because you're just waiting for the big score, because you never know which team's going to hit the big shot, and then you get games like last week with Jacksonville and Pittsburgh, and everybody thinks, well, if Pittsburgh scores, who would have picked if I said Pittsburgh scores 40? Who's going to pick the Jaguars?
No one.
That's right. Nobody would have.
So we're sitting here breaking it down like we're experts on this. This week will be 40-40.
Well, here's the thing is, I think you can have good high-scoring games, and you can also have good low-scoring games. I mean, low-scoring games, just because it's low-scoring doesn't mean it's a defensive struggle. It's just maybe that the offenses are that bad. I mean, look at that wild card game against Jacksonville and Buffalo. That was a ugly game.
Yes,
it was low-scoring. It wasn't because the defenses were that good. It's because the offenses were that bad.
Well, this is what we're talking about. Last week, I took Pittsburgh to win 17-7. Well, it wasn't the point that they won. It's the point they got beat. They gave up 45 points.
I think the over-under was like 40, and both teams hit the over.
You know.
Both teams hit the over. All right, Jock, we got to take a break. I'm sorry. We started talking all crazy in there. All right, give us a break. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. KTC, we're going to wrap it up with a few NFL draft preview news and notes. Final stat on the AFC Championship games, NFC Championship games. Home teams in the AFC, 28-12. NFC 27-13, so about the exact same thing. So roughly one out of every almost 4 times, 3 times basically that 3.5 that away team wins. All right, we'll be back in just a few minutes. KTCBroadcasting.com.
The RVer's most trusted resource for over 50 years. That's Campers Inn. Family owned and operated since 1966. And this area's dealer is Campers Inn in Kings Mountain, Highway 161 South at I-85. Campers Inn is the nation's largest family-operated RV dealership with 16 locations on the East Coast. From motorhomes to travel trailers and more, from the industry's leading manufacturers, plus award-winning RV sales and service. See hundreds of RVs at the best prices at Campers Inn. Highway 161 South at I-85 in Kings Mountain. Tell them Calvin sent you in to the Campers Inn.
Check out what the Green Meadows Golf Club on Kelly Road in Mount Holly has to offer. On Wednesday, you can play all day for $28, including cart and green fee. And ladies, Wednesday is your day too. Ladies play and ride all day for only $15. To make your tee time, call the Green Meadows Golf Club at 704-827-9264. You'll love it. The Green Meadows Golf Club, located at 957 Kelly Road in Mount Holly. Come see what they have to offer.
Feast your eyes on a Whirlpool Black Stainless Steel Suite. Now available at Hendrick Appliance and Mattress Center in Shelby. It's the first ever black stainless steel, the new premium color that is as bold as you are. And it's from Whirlpool and Hendrick Appliance and Mattress Center. Yes, care can be messy. That's why the Whirlpool Black Stainless Steel Suite is fingerprint resistant. And it performs as good as it looks and is the perfect touch for any kitchen. So be bold. See the new Whirlpool Black Stainless Steel Suite today at Hendrick Appliance, 1241 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby.
If bowling's your game, head to George Pappas Liberty Lanes in Gastonia. At Liberty Lanes in Gastonia, you'll find 32 lanes, 16 with bumpers for small children. Liberty Lanes is a smoke-free facility with a full snack bar and game room with pool tables, plus a pro shop too, providing bowlers of all skill levels with a fun-filled environment for both league and open bowling. That's George Pappas Liberty Lanes, Highway 321 South, Gastonia.
Cherryville,
Old lamp ride, jump in the fire, fire too high, jump in the pot, pot too black, jump in the crack, crack too high, jump in the sky, sky too blue, jump in canoe, canoe too shallow, jump in the tallow, tallow too soft, jump in the loft, loft too rotten, jump in the cotton, cotton so white she stayed there all night.
JP Anderson in the house. What you doing in there, girl? Welcome back, Saturday Sports Talk. I'm looking at my favorite picture in the What's Up Shopper this week. Have you seen this, Terry? This picture right here.
Okay.
What is that? Terry's got to look at
it.
It's an old photo.
There's an old photo of a former Carolina Panther.
He never played it down.
LeVar Ball in the team photo of the Carolina Panthers. I don't know what year it was.
It was the first season.
It wasn't the first season?
Yeah, 95.
But the funniest thing about him being in the team photo is he's standing right behind Jerry Richardson. So you can get them all in one little crop photo. Pick up What's Up Shopper this week.
And those are two of the most talked about people in that photo of the year 95.
It is. 22 years later, these two people were trending probably in the same week on Twitter.
I mean, it's not
What if
even...
you tell somebody that? What if you go back in time and tell somebody that in 95?
I think they would believe Jerry because he's still.
And by the way, Donald Trump's the president. Think about the things.
That'd be like the scene from Back to the Future where you go back to 55 and he tells them that Ronald Reagan's the president.
Oh yeah, Terry. Here's another one. Magic Johnson's still alive.
Okay.
1995. You tell somebody Magic Johnson's still alive. 22 years later, he owns the Lakers.
Yeah. Everybody would have thought.
Think about all the emotion and all the things that they went through when Magic Johnson was diagnosed with AIDS, HIV. I mean, it's been 22. Smoke. His aides are older than you.
Yeah.
Think about that, Terry. Magic Johnson's aides are older than Jock and Evan.
I mean, you saw the movie Philadelphia. I mean, people saw Philadelphia. That's pretty serious.
Yes, it just. I
mean, look at NASCAR with Tim Richmond.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's no cure, and he's still alive. Looking hell. I mean,
what if you'd told Terry Reinhardt in 1995 that Dallas Cowboys wouldn't win another Super Bowl for the next 23 years?
Yeah,
would you believe that? Not even won another Super Bowl, Terry. What if I'd have told you in '95 after they won that third one that they would never make it to another NFC Championship game?
Yeah, the closest they got was 07.
They've been in the second round, yeah. They've been in the second round a bunch of times, but it's.
Well, every time I sit back and I think about Jerry Jones, how come you never got smarter and say, Jimmy Johnson, come on back?
Or how about you just stop being the GM?
Yeah.
Or just kind of get away in the from being the main guy. But like, I mean, what if I told you in '95 that Jake Plummer would beat you guys in a playoff game?
Jake Plummer, Kerry Collins. I mean, there's all kinds of people.
I mean, just the Cardinals in general.
Who was Detroit's quarterback when they beat
Rodney
him?
Peete.
Rodney Peete beat him. Like
reality star Rodney Peete.
The defense, as soon as that defense, I mean, it went down real quick. It was Dion, and he had like no help. It was Dion and Woodson, and the line and linebackers got old, and they couldn't stop the run.
Heck, he had Dion playing wide receiver.
Yeah, well, that wasn't that bad. Dion.
I know, but still.
Put it this way, he was like Ted Ginn on the offense, to where there was nobody on the defense. Yeah, you couldn't put him in just single coverage and let him go because he was going to outrun whoever was over there. He reminds me a lot of Ted Ginn as a receiver, kind of, don't he?
I got one question. In 2018, for Smoke, how come y'all getting rid of all of your offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, and special teams coach?
Because the Turner family's moving in to the household. The special teams one, I guess they weren't going to keep them or something.
Wow.
Even though this is the best special teams unit they've had in a while in terms of the way they've been playing. I don't know.
Here's my question for you.
Yeah.
They only had to cover 12 kickoffs all season.
Because Graham Gano is really good at kickoffs, yeah.
And they get rid of the special teams coach.
Well, I mean, Graham Gano's always been good at kickoffs. I think he's been leading the league in the past few years. And,
come on, Smoke. I have a hard time with that.
I'm more about punt coverage, and they've really done a good job at punt
His
coverage.
His special teams that he was coaching also had a punt return for a touchdown, a kickoff return for a touchdown.
That's the first time that's happened since 2003, by the way.
And they fired him.
They let him go because it was on his last year, yeah. And they promoted Chase Blackburn, who was the assistant.
Really, the thing that really got me was I was like, when they threw out here, had only had to cover 12 kickoffs all season. The rest of them's kicked into the end zone or out of it.
Well, that's Graham Gano's always been good at that. No matter what you think of him,
he built a good snowman the other day too.
Yeah, he did.
Here is who the Panthers have hired, Terry. Offensive coordinator Norv Turner.
If this was '96, I'd be going crazy.
Panthers quarterback coach Norv Turner's son. Panthers offensive consultant Norv Turner's brother.
Hey.
Panthers assistants quarterbacks coach Norv Turner's nephew. So, what does Norv know about Ron Rivera?
They coached in San Diego.
That what kind of blackmail does he got on him to get his whole family hired on the coaching staff?
I don't know. It's just this seems it's so incompetent to have your whole family be basically most of the offensive staff.
Is this a Marty Herney
don't
decision?
Be mad.
No,
North Carolina
this is more
a great
Ron
place
Rivera.
for them to live.
This is more of a Ron Rivera decision. I mean, people that complain about Shula, I think people were a little too hard on him. This is at the very best a lateral move, and I say at the very best.
Now, quarterback coach Ken Dorsey, I think you can. You can use some help.
Yeah, I mean, that's quarterback coach. But I guess they figured, well, it's a package deal with Dorsey, so we might as well get him out too. I understand that, but my main problem is when you're interviewing someone, you don't just, or if you're looking for a new car, you don't try one new car. I learned this when I got my Honda last year, or 2 years ago. I tried a car too, and then I was set on this one car, but then my parents made me try another one. You don't just try one car and then like hunky dory, let's go. And that's basically what the Panthers did. They didn't interview other people like a John Morton from the Jets who just got released for some reason. I don't know why. You interview other people to see what they think needs to be done to this offense, so you can maybe say, hey, we might not hire you, but at least we have what you think in the back pocket, so maybe we could use that down the line. Instead, you just interview one guy that you talked to for about 3 or 4 days who's 65 years old, who the last offense he ran, he quit because he couldn't change, and the next year that team is in the NFC Championship game because they've renovated their offense completely. And yes, they have a great defense, but that offense ain't that half bad as well. And that offensive coordinator who took over you is now getting a head coaching job after 1 year.
But is it one of them situations where they thought if I do not get him, then somebody else is going to grab him, and we better do what we got to do now?
Well, let them grab him. Let them grab him. This isn't the 90s anymore. You're going to ask Cam Newton to drop back 7 times with Matt Khalil as a left tackle.
Yeah.
That happened in Minnesota, and freaking Bridgewater was almost broken to oblivion because he was getting sacked all the time thanks to Matt Khalil. It's stupid. You're going to have receivers that are going to have to create separation that go to the plan of long vertical routes for North Turner. I'm sorry, but this isn't 1995 anymore. It's 2018. All these coaches need to realize they need to get more innovative on the offensive side, get more college-type offense coordinators, because we're seeing a lot of them working pretty well. I mean, look at Sean McVay. Sean McVay implemented a lot of offense and got a lot of guys that anybody could have had, and he completely turned the Rams offense from being the most just worst train wrecks on offense to one of the best.
So basically what you're telling me right now is Carolina's going to be worse next year.
Possibly. If they get the right pieces, they might be good enough to avoid North Turner at this point. But I'm not high. When North Turner's been good as long as he has talent around him, and he luckily lucked into having a pretty good offensive team when he was in San Diego. When that team doesn't work out, like in Minnesota, even though he had some pretty good players, like he told Cleveland when he took the job in Cleveland back in 2013, he was going to run Trent Richardson 300 times. This is in 2013. You don't see people running backs 300 times that often anymore. It just, unless he's changed.
If you do what everybody else does, you're going to lose because 31 or 30 other teams lose every year.
The problem is a lot of these NFL teams are taking offensive coordinators that I think have no business.
You know what I didn't hear you, Smoke, you talked, I was looking at the clock, about 3 minutes there, about all the problems with North Turner and Matt Khalil and all the receivers. Not once did you mention the quarterback's name.
I don't think he's the problem.
But what I'm saying is that you're bringing a new offensive coordinator. So if the quarterback doesn't, obviously there's a problem with the quarterback and the offense to begin with. So if you're bringing a new coordinator to fix that, and the quarterback isn't willing to do what the new coach says, whose fault is it then?
Well, here's the thing too,
because obviously
they didn't even have Cam in the interview.
Obviously, the quarterback didn't work. Well, they've made this decision without Cam.
That's stupid, by the way.
Because what they've done is that obviously Cam and what was going on wasn't working because they fired him. So what Rivera is saying is that I think Norv will have a better plan for Cam, whether or not Cam wants to or not. Because what Cam needs to do is at some point he's not going to be able to run as much. He's going to have to become a pocket passer. This is the best chance for him. And then you went through all this stuff about wide receivers and Khalil and North Turner's scheme and everything. And none of it said anything to do about, is Cam going to try to improve? Is he going to quit throwing off his back foot? Is he going to quit throwing the most interceptions in the league besides old Dodo? Who threw the most this year? It was 22. John Kaiser there in Cleveland threw the most. Cam was second most. Like what Ron Rivera is saying is that Cam's got to buy. Well, it's still whose fault?
No, most of those were not Cam's fault.
So now his interceptions don't count, but all the other quarterbacks
I'm not
in the
saying
NFL does.
it's just a lot of them weren't
Panthers
his fault.
were 23rd in drops this year. We went over this before. They were not in the top anything. The Panthers receivers have never led the league in drops. They were 23rd this year.
Well, it's kind of hard because he's.
But yeah, it's kind of hard because he's throwing it 10 feet over their heads.
No, because
the
none
other
of them
team.
create separation. Look, you can complain about the mechanics all you want to, but Aaron Rodgers' mechanics aren't the best either. But look at him.
I'm with you on Cam has nobody to throw to. I will go with you on that, but he does throw off his back foot a lot. And even Olsen cannot catch some of the balls he throws to him because they're over his head.
I feel like that's kind of overstated by this point. I think,
but he needs to adjust. Like,
yeah,
what Rivera decided. What Rivera decided was, well, you got two choices when you fire your offensive coordinator with Cam Newton. You're going to run a college offense or you're going to run an NFL offense. He decided he's going to run an NFL offense. So that means Cam has to, if he wants to play for Ron Rivera and North Carolina Panthers, he's got to learn how to run that offense and do those things that make someone in that offense good. Now, if Cam don't adjust, y'all are going to end up doing like what Smoke's doing, and you're going to blame North Turner for not adjusting to Cam instead of Cam adjusting to North. So Rivera's making this decision for Cam and for the organization.
Well, if
that
this doesn't work out,
Rivera's
going to be fired too.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
And this is his fault because he only interviews one guy because he knows him personally. He let his own emotions get in the way of making a coaching change because he knows this guy so well instead of actually going through a judicious effort to try and help the offense get better. That's my problem, and I swear they're going to...
1989. Jerry Jones didn't interview anybody but Jimmy Johnson.
Yes.
They went 1-15, and he didn't fire him.
I understand that, but like, if you're really wanting, it's just.
I'm saying, Smoke, you got to put it on. At some point, it's got to be the 7th-year MVP's quarterback's fault, who's not throwing 60%, that they fire the offensive coordinator.
Wait.
2 years. Wait, what?
That's a completion percentage. So you'll take. So Sam Bradford's better than Tony Romo according to completion percentage. If we're going by that,
Did I say that's the only thing?
That's 90% of the time you use that. And
you want to do QBR? You want to do touchdowns, interceptions? No, I just said Cam's second worst in the NFL in interceptions. You said that stat don't count.
You look at the stats.
Then I said completion percentage.
You never look at the film.
That stat don't count. Okay, 7 years. Here's another stat for you. Smoke. How many losing seasons in 7 years?
Well, he came into a team that was 1-15. You got to have nuance. You're not having nuance in none of these contexts.
In 7 years, how many losing seasons has Cam had?
3 or 4.
4.
And he came into a team of 1-15.
In 8 years as a starter, Tony Romo never had one single losing season.
Because he came into a team that was already around 500. He came into a better situation. Point blank. It was better. You got it. What? You're mad because I actually brought context into it?
How was that better?
It was better.
How was Tony Romo's situation? Did I just not read you the defenses about 21st ranked ever in NFL history?
He still came into a better situation.
Okay.
It's just that.
So Romo's situation was so much better than Cam's, even though Cam's team made a Super Bowl. But Smoke.
But they built on the defense. I'm telling you, that team was about to move, and then they got Cam Newton. The team was threatening to move. They were in a better situation. Now, if you don't want to put any context and just want to go off based on seasons, yeah, go ahead.
Winning seasons, Smoke. So far in the last minute, you've poo-pooed completion percentage, interceptions, and wins. So what are we basing it on then?
I'm basing it on yes.
What you see in your eyes?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what if in my eyes I say that Sam Bradford's better than Cam Newton?
Well, I will say you are not clearly watching close enough.
Well, I'm saying you're clearly not watching close enough. So what makes you right and me wrong? How can you're talking opinions here now, Smoke? When I'm using facts and stats, I'm using facts and stats.
Stats that can be empty sometimes.
You're using opinions based on your eyes. When your eyes say Cam's better, my eyes say Sam Newton's better. Sam Bradford's better. So I don't understand how you can't accept another opinion other than yours.
I do, but it's just you say a lot of stuff like that all the time. That's ridiculous.
Smoke. In 7 seasons, he had 4 losing seasons. How is that?
You're not putting nuance into it. I'm just telling you
what nuance.
Its nuance is he came into a team that was 2-14. That was one of the worst offenses.
Why did they suck last year then? They just came off the Super Bowl. Here's the nuance, Smoke. He just came off a 15-1 team, and they didn't make the playoffs.
Last year was bad. Last year was bad. Okay, last year was horrendous. But then he came back this year, despite not having any practice whatsoever on a bad shoulder, and with injuries galore on the wide receiver core, had to completely change the renovation of the offense. And yes, you're going to bring up Andy Dalton, but he's gotten worse with time, even though he has A.J. Green, one of the top 5 wide receivers in the league. He also had guys like Mohamed Sanu, Tyler Eifert.
Terry, Smoke right now is telling me, listen where he's going with this, that the Bengals are a better situation organization than the Panthers. That's where he's going with this.
No, but they've actually gave him weapons on offense. They've given weapons on offense. Now, they had to build the defense up, but they never really gave Cam efficient weapons on offense.
No, I agree. I'm with you on that, Smoke, but I also know that the last 2
seasons... Is Greg Olsen better than any tight end who's ever played for the Cincinnati Bengals?
Greg Olsen is better than anybody they've ever had.
Is Christian McCaffrey not a better slot receiver than the Bengals have ever had?
He's not a slot receiver. Stop with that.
He caught 110 balls, Smoke.
He is going to be a second running back that's out of backfield. You're just wanting him to make a slot receiver because he's white.
Okay. Andy Dalton, 109 games. Cam Newton, 109 games, Terry. Who has more wins?
Because Andy Dalton came into a better situation.
Just guess, Terry. Who has more wins?
I'm going to say Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton has one more win than Cam Newton. Completion percentage. Who's got a better completion percentage in the same number of games in their careers? Andy Dalton. Who's got more yards? Same number in the same number of games. Andy Dalton. Yards per attempt. Cam wins one. 7.3 against 7.2. Touchdowns. Cam 158. Andy Dalton 167. More touchdowns. Interceptions. Cam one more interception than Andy Dalton. The only thing that Cam has more than Andy Dalton is his fantasy points because he runs the ball. So this is the whole North Turner thing. You can stick Andy Dalton or Cam Newton in there. Somebody's got to run his offense. Panthers have chosen to run a pro-style offense. So, Smoke, you can't tell me the Bengals situation is better than
It was when he got there, and now it's worse. So, yeah. Okay, look. Okay, just...
But the last two times that the Panthers have done good, it's on account of their defense. Their defense led them this year, and a couple years ago against Denver, the defense led them there. I mean, Smoke, really?
No.
I mean,
it was
because
the defense
when
and
it
Cam
got
Newton.
but when it got to the end, what did the Saints do? They said Cam's going to beat us, and he couldn't.
Where did
Denver did the same thing?
Where did Carolina rank in defense points this year? Was it 10th or 11th? Wasn't it like 11th?
Something like that.
All right, I'll give you 10th. Just say 10th, right? Here's Cam Newton's seasons. Defensive. Remember we were talking about Romo and them? 27, 18, 2. Where'd they go? What was their record when they had the second rest defense?
12-4.
21st, 21st. 6. Where'd they go with the 6th ranked defense? And 26th last year, and then this year 11th. So the two times he's had a top 10 defense, he's went 12 and 15 wins. Yeah, you need the defense.
Well, no, I'm just when the offense is still predicated on stuff like running the ball, and I mean they never really ask him to pass the ball much.
All right, Jock, we went way too far. I know.
And I'm with you on this. They do ask Cam to run the ball too much.
Look,
but he's the best running back they've got.
I don't think whether it's Norv or a college coach, as long as Cam buys into the system that they choose, he has to buy into the system. They can't come in and say, well, Cam don't like to do this, I don't want to do this, or he don't like to do this. He's got to buy into this system.
Well, and I think he's like that because he didn't say anything. I hate that they don't even have him in the meetings for offense coordinator because you're paying him over $100 million. He's your franchise, and you don't even have him in a meeting that's discussing his future. That's stupid. I don't care if you don't have an owner right now. That's stupid, and it's just incompetence bringing in the whole family in here when, I mean, some of the other Turners, like one of the Turners was at Michigan, which was one of the worst offenses in the nation. I mean, I don't think it's going to end well because you bring in a whole family.
Real quick, last question before we get out here, does Rivera and them have to win a Super Bowl next 2 years? Or is it 3? I mean, is there a Super Bowl that he has to win? I mean, what do they have to do with Cam for? I mean, what's the end game there? There's an end game to everything.
Well, I mean, the goal is to win a Super Bowl. I don't know what the window is. I mean, who knows? You'd never know. It could end tomorrow, and we just didn't. You know, I mean, who knows? But
do you not think it's going to be the next owners that come in? I mean, Rivera might not be their man. They might come right out, flat out, and
that might be one of the things. I think they might. You know, if things don't work out this year, they might say, "Hey, you know."
We'll definitely have a lot of things to talk about this off season because of that. I mean, it's going to be crazy off season with depending on who buys it, and but after that, coaching is going to be further on down the list. You know, because you can be talking stadiums, possible relocation. You got different ownership groups. You know, you got all kinds of things to talk about. All right. We went way too far. That was fun. Went way too far. Next week, don't forget, Smoke Friday night. You're East Lincoln, right? North Lincoln, East Lincoln. Mm-hmm. Cherryville at Piedmont Charter and Huss at Kings Mountain on KTC Broadcasting today we've got Carolina basketball and Charlotte Hornets basketball. And tonight, tomorrow we've got Championship Sunday on KTC Broadcasting, NFC and AFC Championships here on KTC. All right, guys. It's been fun. Jock, thanks for coming in. We lost JP today. We don't know where he went. We'll talk to everybody later. We'll see you next Friday for high school basketball, next Saturday for Sports Talk here on Campers Inn, Saturday Sports Talk with Kevin Hastings, Terry Reinhardt, Evan Ludwig, and Jock Anderson. We'll see you next week, KTCBroadcasting.com.